The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Don't promise twice what you can do once. A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Remember two things. One, that everything has always been the same and keeps recurring, and it makes no difference whether you see the same things recur in 100 years or 200 or in an infinite period. Two, that the longest lived and those who will die soonest lose the same thing. The present is all they can give up, since that is all you have, and what you do not have you cannot lose. Ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of his life is, but rather he must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life he can only respond by being responsible. No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going to happen. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. I begin to speak only when I'm certain what I'll say isn't better left unsaid. All Hellenistic schools seem to define wisdom in approximately the same terms, first and foremost as a state of perfect peace of mind. From this viewpoint, philosophy appears as a remedy for human worries, anguish, and misery brought about for the cynics by social constraints and conventions, for the Epicureans by the quest for false pleasures, for the Stoics by the pursuit of pleasure and egotistic self-interest, and for the skeptics by false opinions. Whether or not they lay claim to the Socratic heritage, all Hellenistic philosophers agreed with Socrates that human beings are plunged into misery, anguish, and evil because they exist in ignorance. Evil is to be found not within things, but in the value judgments which people bring to bear upon things. People can therefore be cured of their ills only if they are persuaded to change their value judgments. And in this sense, all these philosophies wanted to be therapeutic.
Me, I always tell it, even when I lie. So say good night to the black guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a black guy like this again.
The great reset's happening. So when you get all your pretty and nice shit taken away and your bullshit job that leads to nowhere, and you're forced back on the land and have to be self-sustainable and co-creative and work with what is, this talk about your feelings and your ego is going to go right out the window, because the God and the elements and nature are going to present what needs to happen next. 9 out of 10 times. That's the difference between me and you. I got it in me, not on me, just like you do. I'm trying to work it out, bring the subconscious to the conscious and figure out who and what I am. Am I good or evil? Am I real and true? Am I a narcissistic, egotistical deceiver? That's the difference. I'm actually authentically trying to work it out while you lie to everyone and project your negative aspects of self onto me, and I don't appreciate it. And the universe don't appreciate it either. And the students of life in this audience don't appreciate it either. This isn't about love and money. This isn't about chasing bags or anything else in and of the world. This is about the philosophy, right? The love of knowledge, the love of wisdom, the love of understanding of self and applying it to actualize and realize and get better results for yourself and everyone else. I thought that's what we were doing here. So let's get the game back in its proper perspective. The motherfucker doing this shit shouldn't have to talk about it because you folks want to lie on it. It's embarrassing to me. I didn't come on here with the intention of the understanding that this is supposed to be for business or a hobby. That's why I show up the way I do 500 days straight. That's why I have a care in my heart with passion. That's why I do what's true and what's right and see through you motherfuckers and get amazing results for me. We can't allow the generalized experience of life and everything it has to offer, good, bad, and indifferent, to hold us back or keep us paralyzed or keep us fearful or self-doubting or unloving and uncaring of ourselves. How do I know? Because I look into me. That's all this is. I can see further than the rest. I can interpret beyond what's told and shown, and I can amalgamate and communicate the cause and effect and the root of the state of consciousness and awareness. That is a astounding testimony to the work that I've done on myself in this world and in this life, and the practices I've walked with other people. The question and answer, the fellowship, the co-creational endeavors, and the conversation that leads to understanding. But again, we can't appeal to false emotions and false authority. That is the cornerstone of cognitive dissonance. You can't say that I'm respectable, righteous, honorable, presentable, and then I have balls, and then turn around and hate me or catch feelings over me, be in that and live in that when you don't like it, or when it doesn't turn out as favorably for you as you would have hoped or expected, right? That's the theme of a true common bond that goes long term versus the shallow, materialistic, worldly connections that come and go. Just, it is what it is. Some people are down forever. Some people are down for the ride until they got to get off, right? And some people ain't down at all. So through the life experiences, firsthand experiences, through the tests and challenges, you learn more and more who and what is meant for you, and who or what is probably not going to be able to sustain the ride. And that's okay. Greetings, Mr. Brian O'Shea. Greetings, Mr. Brian O'Shea. Excuse me. A little bit of emphysema there kicking up. All right. But that's part of the life of a broadcaster and comedian, as you would know. What are your thoughts, sir? What do you got going on here? You like the hate? Huh? You like that? You fucking like that? As soon as you start to wake up and really live in this life, the haters and demons come out. Time to play. Come out and play. They have no understanding of this thing that dwells in me, that it simmers and I keep it like directed for positive, beneficial purposes. They have no idea what they're going to unleash at some point, metaphorically, metaphysically, right? They think they have power. They think they're going to beat me. Right? I'm the only one who's ever beat me in this life. I've recognized that. You can't beat me. You can't stop me in what I do. You can't affect the influence of change that's happening. You can't overwrite the truth of the supernatural creation. Are you kidding? You fucked up. Going against this one. Going against what rides with this one. Your thoughts, Mr. O'Shea? How are you feeling? How does it feel to be on the radar now, to be a relevant piece of conversation and hate for other punk-ass cowards who are inactive pretty much everywhere in their life and unsuccessful pretty much everywhere in their life? Thoughts?
It's wild, man. It's wild. Yeah, Slow State making a stream last night about license registration, tags. Let's have a. I mean, fuck it if it's gonna have them having conversations like that. But yeah, Benton's retarded ass. I'll smoke. I was just watching some of that from the stream from a few days ago.
Right. I mean, I love it. At the end of the day, if you love the game and the game is life and you understand the truth always comes to light, then we're long gaming because it ain't over till we're out of here. And maybe not even then. And everybody's going to get what the fuck they need and get put on record one way or the other, right? So, hey, what better time to be alive? The best of times or worst of times, depending on which side of history you're living presently. Greetings, Mr. Aflo Mayo.
Yes, so I'm here to take some of Brian's hate. I support Brian O'Shea, and I don't understand why the Thugs can't just make up a new identity. Just take his picture, pick a new name, make up a number. It's not a big deal. It's a tag and release.
Right. Well, this is my new thing, right? My new thing is I'm going to jump way out the window and I'm going to make my own credentials because I don't need American National or any other credentials. And I'm going to just make my own classification and characterization because, hi, I'm the highest thing in this realm. Nice to meet you, low lives. So I will decide what my status and standing is and what my entitlement is and all the rest of it under God. So I might just jump right out the window and call myself Abdul Rahman Unslaved Rashid, right? Something like that. And you can't stop me from lawfully changing my name because, maybe I went through a little crisis, went through a midlife crisis, and now I just decided to become whatever you consider to be a Muslim. I don't consider it that way because you guys got all different types of like characterization. So I just go pick a language and I just, pick some words in that language that are common names that really mean I'm not your fucking property, suck my dick in public. But this way I phrase it in a way they don't understand it. And then I go, well, this is my moniker now. This is my credential. And you can just throw out all the rest of the crap you have on record with liability bonds attached and all the rest of it because I really want nothing to do with it. You're not going to hold me under that umbrella and that banner, just like they did in Rome, creating these all caps, capitis diminutio maxima entities, and then holding us all in slavery because you created an entity on paper and papyrus and made a reality for the slaves that doesn't exist. Okay. So if you can do it, I can do it. The difference is I have an intent and a conviction and results, and my logic is sound. Yours isn't. So we can't play in the imagination of deviants. We can play in the imagination of honorable men and women because no matter how much you imagine, it only brings about what we've already experienced throughout time. You can't imagine your way out of what is, one way or the other, positive or negative. So your thoughts on any of that? Penile power, affectionately known as penile fluffer nowadays. That's the moniker that they're really enjoying. The audience.
Vaginal.
Great stuff.
Yes, so I actually like that phrase. I may borrow it. You can't imagine reality what it is. I really like that one.
Yeah, positively or negatively. Your best efforts to positively imagine only creates a past we've already lived in a positive sense. Your attempt to imagine out of in a negative fashion what is already creates a reality we've already existed in. It's called heaven or hell. Fuck slaves. So newsflash, man is the creator of heaven or hell here, right? As it is above or so below. We are the representation and the co-creator and facilitator. So your best efforts of imagining with all your big brain ideas only bring us back to one of two positions, heaven or hell conceptually. Isn't that fascinating? Right, because you're in a holographic universe. You're not as special and unique and genius as you think. All the best geniuses in the world go and invent stuff, and it only brings us back to square one. More division, more corruption, more toxification, more war, on and on and on and on. And they think they're having their own ideas. This is how low-level egocentric consciousness this human race is. It can't even perceive of connectivity where it's obvious everywhere. They just think their own being. We're all our own beings, and we're making shit up, and we're imagining. Great. Then tell me a story about the last 2,000 years that all doesn't sound the same. Dummies.
Yeah, the secret about technology is it's all about shifting the burden to someone else. That's the whole point. It's making the problem someone else's problem.
Right. It's called a spiritual archetype, a state of consciousness. If it's not out there, it's in here. It's called a shaitan, a deceiver from the beginning of time that makes you think you're on your own path and doing your own will. And next thing you know, you're caught up in something created the same person you are all around you with the same big brained ideas. So the ideas are not coming from you. They're coming through you, just like humans are not coming from other humans. They're coming through them. This is portals within portals, wheels within wheels. You're not imagining anything. You're just calling back to or summoning on the DNA, the epigenetics that reveals life is life. And then you get a choice to do the will of creation or your own will that always leads one way or the other back to the same set of conditions. You don't get a way out of the matrix. You don't get to imagine your way out of a holographic simulation reality where you're forced to choose. Do you not realize that yet? On every level, financially, career-wise, artistically, relationship-wise, government, you get a fucking choice. That's the whole point of why we're here. Did you watch the damn movie within the movie, The Matrix? They gave you the whole game and the whole layout. Stop complaining when the same motherfuckers who are pimping you are giving you all the answers and cheat codes and hacks to the game. You're so fucking embarrassing and pathetic. Oh, they're doing it all to us. Yeah, and they tell you the complete way out of it and give you every fucking perspective on how to do and be better and get out of it. Whose fault is it at that point? You've already proven you don't want out.
Yeah, today I'll have a red pill simmering red, and tomorrow I'll probably have a blue pill.
Hook up to all the slaves. Oh, here's how you put your property in trust and be exempt from certain taxation or certain liabilities. They won't even look at that. They won't even implement it. They give them the game over and over again and then slave them on the other end. You go, here's the way out. Take it anytime. Like Plato's cave. Here's the way out of the cave. No, they don't want it. They want shadows on the wall. They want darkness and decay. That's what their spirit cries out for. And then they'll complain double time. Oh, but our masters uploaded us to be like that. Okay. So when do you take your personal responsibility and accountability and power back to choose and then just do something different?
Or
constantly blaming other people and playing the victim.
Yeah. So you could change the darkness or just enjoy it. It's not whatever.
Listen, bro. That's what happens in between you doing hedonism and making plans. So when they lock your bitch ass down again and tell you what's going inside of you, tell me all about sit back and enjoy. I got no problem at those times sitting back and enjoying in between going to war with motherfuckers metaversally, metaphorically, metaphysically. Because I don't physically fight them, but I'm going to speak up and I'm not going to comply with certain things. And that's just going to be that. So long as you like it, I love it, right? I got no problem enjoying in between as much as I'm capable, as much as possible. But there's an overarching dynamic here and thematic here for every individual and the collective. It cannot be ignored. Then you just have to surrender as the individual that you're not in charge of anybody else. So you can be passionate, you can be inspired, you can uplift in a sense, or question and demean. Because again, it's not a negative sense of demeaning when you live a life of no meaning. If I demean you and your life has no meaning, well, then I'm just pointing out what is again, right? You live a life of no meaning. It's not a negative demeaning by pointing that out. So when you live a life of meaning, I'll probably stop demeaning you. Right? And that's not the same back the other way, right? I live a life of complete value, meaning, and purpose and principle at this time. All right, so my life is far from demeaning, nor can a demeaned motherfucker who doesn't live a life of those things demean me. See, it's like that force field effect. Everything you throw at me just comes back on you. All right, what you ignore and what you resist persists. I don't give a fuck what you feel about it and what you call it. And I don't give a fuck what label you stick on me for not observing it. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. Right? So for all the fake ass Christians and godless infidels who keep talking religious dogma in the Bible, you don't live it because you think you're going to be your own God, do whatever the fuck you want, and you're not going to be visited consequences on you and your lineage. Wrong. So at least get your shit together. If you're going to live like that, understand where you are in the Bible, what character you're playing, the collectivists of Babylon and Barabbas, and understand you'll be cursed infinitely to X amount of generations. Right? Just understand that. Understand your fucking dogmatic scripture that you refuse to interpret properly or apply to your life because you think you're exempt from the story that's being told there when it was a story about creation Hi, that's us. Any thoughts on that?
Mic drop.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. How you feeling, man?
I feel anger because I'm seeing Hucklebuss's name in chat. Do you know why I'm seeing Hucklebuss's
Why
name
are
in
you
chat?
feeling angry? Because he's showing up every day, demeaning himself and showing himself to be a coward and a clown. Isn't that great for what we do here?
I'm more angry at Pineal because I thought Pineal was head of the Hucklebuss chat removal stuff.
Well, as you see, he no longer has a wrench. I just don't get why someone who calls everyone bitch ass slaves won't fucking click a fucking link.
Thank God Penal Power's finally coming out of his fucking pussy ass shell with the truth. I've been waiting for this day.
Yeah, I should come and call me a bitch ass slave. I probably have too many papers. So come up
Call
with
it,
call me a bitch ass slave, please.
Right, and let's be clear, Penal Power. Don't let them twist you up either by doing what I do with you when I hold you accountable because I care about you, because they're going to whip around and go, who are you, Sean? After Daddy insulted you about certain things by bringing awareness to what you need to do, who are you to hold me to a standard I set, right? See how they're going to do that hypocrisy? So when they create relationships with you and they hold other people to standards around you and with you, you need to hold them back to the standards they've created. You don't do that, but he does. So he needs to be held to that standard or he's a fucking hypocrite. So I appreciate you speaking the truth of the situation finally and holding these coward ass motherfuckers to the accountability that they've created they don't want to stand on. Right? We can't be living amongst hypocrites who got standards for thee, not for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, an unslaved, quote unquote, or not a slave could still be a pussy. So, food for thought.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I say it all the time. There's a bitch in everybody. It just takes a little bit less to get it out of most people.
So why don't you just force him?
Go ahead. I just wanted to address Mitchell because, well, not Mitchell. There's apparently a man here named Tarek is a deadbeat fraud. So I wanted to address him.
Don't forget the hashtags there. Penile, the power, Bitum.
he's typoing early today.
Jukin and Jivin. I like that.
He's had too many days at that Airbnb. He's lost focus on his troll campaigning.
So why would you allow?
Be the best trolls. Let's coach him on that.
Pineal, why would you allow Hucklebuss in your chat? Why don't you just force him to either come up on panel or he doesn't get to talk?
Yeah, well, that's part of his dopamine hit is him just being able to be seen and heard. So you got to learn to take that away from the children so they don't get their fix.
My person probably just don't insult.
Hello, are you going to answer that, Pineal? I asked you a direct question.
I mean, I'm curious to see what his next
comment is.
At which point, I'm curious to always see what his second, because his first comment's always going to be, "Hey, bitch ass slave,"
Pineal.
And then he'll start leaving.
Just answer the fucking question.
What's your question, sir?
What were you just answering then, fuckface?
I was answering your question, but you interrupted.
What was the question, you fucking bitch?
Why do I still see him, or something about why is he still in my chat?
Stupid fucking bitch! You were answering a question. You don't even know what the question is. Why the fuck do you allow him in your chat and do not force him to come up on panel? Why do you allow him to comment? Weren't you head of that fucking crew? What the fuck happened?
Well, sir, that's kind of the reason why he no longer has a wrench on the channel and was timed.
He doesn't have a wrench. Why does he chat? Why do you not force him to come up on panel by not allowing him to chat?
Like by timing him out for 24 hours, which I'm probably about to do.
Ban him permanently, anywhere and everywhere. I thought you were head of the crew.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for that second comment to come so I can take some action, sir.
Right. They pretend they're not in fear or that they're not like in need of non-excommunication. They like joke about, oh, Paul's going to excommunicate us. And then when it actually is done, they whine and cry and email you and freak out everywhere else. So they try to joke about what they're afraid of most. So that's the point. You have to identify that where they're weak and powerless, presenting false strength, and then crush the infidel, vanquish him until he comes correct in repentance to truth. It's not about submission to me or you or anyone else. It's to the idea, the ideology, the understanding. And I didn't create that. It's not my cult. So I'm not the arbiter of objective logic and virtuousness. Far from it. I'm an observer like everyone else, an experiencer and a commentator. Right? So, you know, you don't get the privilege and benefit of commenting if you're not going to live your information. You become a hypocrite, you become an ill repute, and then you get seen as a persona non grata. What is so difficult about that? That's how life works. That's why many of you folks have no friends and family and no career options and networks. Because you've been excommunicated already. They just haven't told you directly.
All right.
Which I admonish them for, right? They should tell you directly what your fucking problems are and issues and why they won't fuck with you, like I do. They should actually love you and care for you and give you informed consent to do and be better.
All right, there's the second comment. So what are you going to do, Pineal?
Yeah, I'm not convinced chatters with people. So you see how I'm already. It's
So Pineal just decides when and when to not fucking be on panel and be present and respond to fucking questions.
Yeah, I'm talking to somebody in my real life. So give me a minute.
Yeah.
Such a fucking
So
bitch.
I just treat this. I treat the chat as a sewer system. There may be a pretty pill in there, but I generally don't really care what happens there. You see how I moderate. Just
This is amazing. Like, this is wizard. While being excommunicated, my numbers are still going up. This is how retarded you are and pathetic, like a broken child. Attention is the currency of the valueless of our time. Did you not remember the broadcast I did the other day? That's you. So notice your fucking value behind the scenes isn't going up. That's why you had to come to daddy for cancer money. Hello? Right. Sorry to bring us back to the cold reality and grounding truth. So your numbers are going up. Oh boy, more people are watching the train wreck. When it comes time for you to need value in your life, you got to come to daddy, even though you're not in need, right? Because you like to turn around and be unthankful and ungrateful and insult the audience and the contributors because you're prideful, right? Just like a broken hoe child. So sorry this has to be said and done. Sorry you keep mocking yourself and making a fool of yourself every day, thinking you're making points. Okay, your numbers are going up 10 people a day. And you can't take care of yourself and your affairs, nor can you fucking take care of your children or anything else in your life. Keith Talcott. So, you know, that and $1 gets you on the bus tomorrow.
Pineal, you have to keep your camera on without any stupid background shit. Your camera on so we can see what the fuck you're doing. So if we want to go to you, who the fuck could you possibly be talking to in your real life? Your mother? Keep that fucking camera on. Keep it just like that. Who are you talking to, you fucking little weasel?
Hold on, I got a screen. You're going off on penile today, huh?
Fuck
Let me bring my
dude.
Vanna wide up. I gotta screen someone. Osprey, can you hear me?
Hello,
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. You don't have any devious plans here, do you? You seem rather normal.
Not today. Not today. Next time.
Okay. Behind the scenes. All right. You got anything for us? Would you like to speak on something?
I'm gonna sit and listen for a little bit. Is it okay? I have
Absolutely.
strong accent. Can you hear it?
Absolutely. You're doing great.
All right, cool.
Timmy, your thoughts?
No, just jumping in. Greetings, folks.
You were saying, Mr. O'Shea? It's Penal's little sister. Hey. Come sit on your creepy uncle's lap, Penal sister. All right. She ran.
She wants to tell you about Bodyguard: A New Beginning.
Can you just replace you with her, please, every day, ma'am? Can you just fucking stab him
How
in the
old is
back
she?
and then
Because I don't want to
down?
catch any more charges than I already have. Is she legal? Are we legal with that one or what?
Like,
Oh,
seriously.
man. You're setting me up, bro. You're pogoed out. You're trying to get me to hit on a fucking illegality.
Officer Snaps yelling at us already.
Ma'am,
Oh.
seriously, can you come up on
Hello?
panel every day instead of him, or at least be up on here along with him in another room? And
Does
I'm getting
do
really
any of
tired
you
of your
guys
brother.
have any of you heard of the Red
Jesus
Scare
fucking Christ! I
podcast?
was just talking to you, woman. Are you fucking as retarded as your brother?
Is this how you always talk to women? This is why you're single and constantly either.
Hear anything
No, I didn't
they're
like that.
saying? Speak louder, guys.
We shouldn't have to speak that loud. We're pretty loud.
Have any of you heard of the Red Scare podcast?
No.
Negative.
Oh. Well, maybe talk about that and it would be
Ma'am,
more
I'm
interesting.
having issues with your brother. I'm very frustrated. I would like
Me
you
too. Me
to
too.
replace him or come up on panel at the same time as him, and then you could you can start to like progress. We're making no progress with this kid.
I
Year and a
would
half.
rather not. I would rather live a life of something better than this.
Your brother's a
There you have
loser.
it. Well, there you have it.
Panel all day.
Okay.
That's what
Fun,
you're
guys.
saying. You said it, not me.
Watch the Red Scare podcast and come back and tell me your thoughts.
What are your parents? What happened to you two? Who are your parents? Can you get your mother in here now so I can yell at her?
I'm starting to think she might be paid by the Red Scare podcast. I think she might be sponsored. I'm not sure. I might have to look
Yeah.
more into that.
Another place that everyone's more successful than you. She somehow got sponsored by a podcast and then promoted here. Thanks. God damn it, Penal
Maybe we
Power.
were-
I just want to
maybe
see you
we-
do well in this life, and you're just not willing to take life by the reins.
Hey, I got
Completely.
Carl Lentz commenting on my streams now, so that's interesting.
Really? Is it
Yeah.
possible? Is it possible that Carl Lenz, his people, reached out to me about a year ago, and I just never took the time to reach back out? And that's another link and another person who you and the others will probably embarrass me with and destroy, who is pretty much a hero and a leader in the law community and someone I studied for years. I'm sure he just showed up on Penal Powers. This is how delusional you guys are. I'm sure he showed up on Penal Powers broadcast with 8 other people watching, Carl fucking Lentz, because you're like Mr. Legal Lawful, like Slow State.
Well,
He's
I
going to swing
tagged
around
him.
the slow states and slave cards soon too.
I
And Joe
tagged him
Rogan
and
says
played
he's a
one of his
podcast.
videos. I tagged him. I played one of his videos, and to be honest, I think I'm wise enough to, know that I'm gonna want to bring him here, not to my
Thank
stream,
God.
unless
Thank
you're
God.
on my stream, which I maybe pre-organized or whatever. But yeah, I think I know well enough that I would do that.
Yeah, this is the web of algorithm we're now dealing with, where somehow or another Carl Lentz winds up in Penal's chat with 8 other people, when I probably could have did a
I had 20
broadcast
views
with
the
him.
other night
Another
when
thing
we were
I
in-
neglected, by the way. Another place where I'm just
28.
okay.
28. You were there.
All right.
Come on, you were there, man. We don't need to. We didn't need to.
Okay,
we
well,
don't need to
Carl
always,
Lentz, if you're listening through Penal stream, I have some respect for you, and that's it's hard to get that from me. You'll know that. Just even that right there. Like, I have a fair bit of respect for you, and I know that I was told that folks connected to him he wanted to speak with me. We were doing that thing, like his people wanted to speak with me, and then I go, is he going to do a hit on me or what is this? I'm like, why can't he just come direct? But I don't know. Maybe there's like something about this world I'm not aware of. Like, there's a hierarchy. I'm supposed to go to him. He don't go to me. But he's one of the few people I respect and have I guess looked at extensively and studied, and see the logic and the understanding of what he's putting forth and have applied it. So I think that we would have a great conversation, and of course it'll be number getting. Right. Another place where Wizard thinks his numbers are going up that I just dropped the ball, didn't do as much of my due diligence and do as much as I could to create more content here with noteworthy names and people. But maybe I'll get on that at some point. Trans Jew. Okay. How are you, Trans Jew? Okay. All right, we're gonna do this. Yeah. That's it. We're gonna do the. I like this bit. This is one of JG's bits where he writes down answers for whatever's going on panel, but he doesn't say anything. That's one of my favorite bits. All right, where do we go with this, people? Where do we go with this? What do you want to talk about today specifically? Can we just
I
go to
want Dave
breaking
to
slave news?
review the class, please.
Hank, please don't keep talking over me. What are you saying? I can't understand. I can barely understand you anyway. If you talk over me, I definitely can understand.
Well, let me ask, would you be interested in playing a couple minute, it's like 3-minute video, the one that I played of Carl Lentz that I tagged him in that got him over? It's pretty good. It's how to win in court, how to win in traffic court.
Right.
Would you like to check that out?
Well, yeah. Where is it? Do you have it back there?
Yeah, let me get it. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about my area is it seems to put people off. If they don't hang around and try to figure out who and what I am and what's going on here, they go, this is insanity. We thought this guy was credible and respectable and presentable, and then he does this paneling. Right. So yeah, it's you'd be surprised how many folks sit here and watch and listen at times, but don't ever interact. Yeah. And, I encourage more of that. So if Carl Lentz or other folks who have some kind of positive or respectable reputation would like to interact with myself for the benefit of the audience, if nothing else, let me know that in some shape, form, or fashion, or just pop up and I'll probably throw everyone else out and get to something that is, comprehensive. I'm not like, I'm looking for that. I'm available for that. I like that. I don't take it as necessarily an offense. So, there's certain times where I wish that people would take more of an active role and just come up and set a narrative and set a tone, or just be open for a back and forth, right? What do we have to fear, right? What do we have to be worried about?
Right, like Wizard fucking spinning and spiraling still in the fucking chat like a little bitch.
Yeah, I wonder how we can fix that. Can you end Pineal's stream, please, Paul? So I don't have to look at this fucking clogging up the chat.
Can't you just close the tab?
Yeah, first I gotta let them know where to go then if I'm gonna do that. And then Pino's gonna be upset with me.
A grown fucking man, dude. It's fucking sad.
What did you do? Time out for 10 seconds just now? What did you just do?
Yeah, Pino, I'm taking your viewers, man. I can use them better anyway over here. Let's be honest. They know it's true. They like you. A lot of them are your friends.
Hey, man, I'd rather them come over here anyway. I'd rather, my channel.
Yeah, just come to at Pimp and Slave because we might have to cut the chain. Because this is like, I love you, Pino Power, but you can't seem to. Whatever. Why can't you ban and block them? Why can't you just drop the hammer on them? Drop it on them.
You don't see
what did you just do,
Pino?
I don't know. I timed him out on the StreamYard side. I don't know how fucking long it is. It's probably an hour or something. Now.
Forever.
Why don't
you
block and ban it? Is there an option for it to be permanent?
That's it. You're excommunicated. You only got one way back. You got to click the link here, come up and address the situation. If not, you're excommunicated. You're permabanned. That's it. Go hang out with Slow State and Machine Cries.
What up, I don't restream because I don't have like a list of best practices for managing the community, so I just choose not to put more work on myself since I'm a very busy man.
Your subscribers belong to us. That's it. You will be assimilated.
I guess you could only hide them.
You want that one too?
You could time them out for 24 hours or hide them. I guess there's no permaban option that I saw.
Well, hide's close enough because they can't see them till you unhide them.
So hiding is basically a permaban.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go. We got our first message from the depths. They're on Benton's tail. All right, where are we going with this? It's very kind of drifting and floaty right now. Very drifter.
I got the video backstage there. I got two for you. You will be assimilated is the second one, and the first one's the one I was talking about. Simple way to win in traffic court.
It's so sweet. All I say to the judges, I look at the other two sides. I look at the cop and I look at the prosecutor. I said, "We're here to discuss that I broke the law, right? Yeah, good. We're here because I broke the law, right? Good." The judge was like, "We're here because I broke the law, right? Yeah, good, wonderful. Let's go." So then they start reading the charges. That's a code that you're saying I violated. That's a code. I thought we were here to discuss that I broke the law. This is the law. I said, yeah. I throw them their own book. I said, what's the difference in your book? Like in the Code of Virginia, 1950, what's the difference between law and a code? So, that, like I said, they read the difference between a code and a law. I said, gotchas. Because you said we were here to discuss the fact that I broke the law. So, did you just make a false claim in court? Are all you folks just committing, just making false claims and saying that I broke the law? They're like, well, you know what I meant. I was like, no. You said that we're here to discuss the fact that I broke the law. I did not break the law. And I said, are you sure you people are going to be able to prove that I broke the law today? Really? Okay. I could prove in 2 seconds I didn't. So they start to read. I said, whoa, I object. I said, that's not the law. They said, yes, it is. I said, that's the code. I said, what does it say? The Code of Virginia. Where are you pulling that from? It's a code book. It's not the law. What's the difference between law and a code? Here you go. Is there anybody harmed or injured? No. That's a code then. One is the law, one is the code. I said, so are you committing false claims in court? Are you guys committing perjury? You just feel like coming to court and saying whatever you feel like saying? You're lying? I thought you guys swore up and down that we were here to discuss the fact that I broke the law. Oh, I guess I didn't break the law, did I? Then I guess there's no reason for us to be here, is there? Oh, man, they hate it, man. I catch them with their own words. I brought them over to the common law side by just saying something simple. Are we here because I broke the law? Is that what you're claiming? Are you claiming I broke the law? Yeah. Well, the only problem is only a man can make a claim. So I guess we're over here on the common law side now. So who's here to make the claim? They're like, oh, geez, this guy got us like in 2 seconds or less. It's like, yep, I'm done, sir. Anything else you need? I love it. I've been doing this for 20 years, 30 years. I don't know. I'm 50 years old now, so I've been doing this since I've been a little kid. Just getting him in and out of court so fast, it's scary. No 100 pages of paperwork.
You like it? I love it.
Yeah, well, that's why Carl Lentz is, again, I couldn't confirm it, but I'm sure his people did reach out to me at one point, because there's few people that are understanding this and able to communicate it, and more importantly, live it and apply it with some level of result.
Yeah.
Pretty common sense. The law is expressed, not implied. That's a maxim. So you can't tell me I broke the law if I broke a code. I did that with the guy at Colorado, one of the Colorado courts. Same rap that he just put forth there. We're here because I broke the law, right? Yeah. Okay. What law did I break? Well, Colorado state statute, penal code, blah, blah, blah. I cut him right off. I said, dude, you and I both know statute, policy, and code is given the force of law. It is not law. And the law is expressed, not implied. You can't imply that this code applies to me when I'm not named in the code, nor is it law. So we got nothing else to talk about, because I already got you in dishonor. I already got you in duplicitous statements. And again, the reason why the guy administrator's name is honorable such and such is because he's supposed to keep that standing. You can't double talk and double speak and have conflation of words and terms and conceptualizations and then appear to be honorable. That's not how that works.
Okay.
They get real nervous when you start checking their bullshit, start calling them out on their inconsistencies and their fraud. You get real nervous. Now they got one who can see, hear, and talk and put it on the record.
Prove it, JG.
It makes no sense. If Osprey was a spy, why would she come up on panel? The most effective spy is the one who's unknown. You don't have to come up on panels in this venue to spy. It's a public venue. People could just sit back and get everything that they want or need. Why would they need to present themselves?
Yeah, Paul, this is why I think why I think they attempt to take your or anyone's protection devices or whatever at the door, is because it's basically a private club. It's their private thing. That's how they're, to me, saying that, by saying, look, there's no constitutional rights in here. We don't follow that. That's not what this is. This is a private venue to do re-venuing, right? And so you don't have, you're relinquishing any rights you think you may have outside the door. That's how I understand it. And I think
Wait,
they have the right.
1 second, Tammy, because I'm being distracted by scrolling people down there.
Yeah.
You got it confused, Wizard, right? And now if you're making claims that are not true for this woman, you're even more disreputable. If you're admitting to her spying for you, you're an idiot. And I'm not too sure what she's going to get by coming up here for you. But I just think that you're like grasping and clutching at this point and trying to create discord here. So could you get the name right? Paul really wishes Broken Wizard would stop following him around on YouTube. It's not the other way around. See how you're gaslighting and projecting? I'm not following you around anywhere. I don't go to your channel. I don't go anywhere else you go. You come here every day. So why are you projecting in your name there that I'm following you around on the internet when you're following me every fucking day and creating discord and won't go away when I ask you to and have 15 alternate accounts like a little middle school girl or some internet troll to just continue to be here when you're not wanted? Who's the broken bitch who won't go away exactly? Who's following who?
That's you.
Wizard.
Right. Another gaslighting, reverse psychology, false projection for clout and pride. And it gets you nowhere because you're so embarrassing that everyone can see you for what you are other than you.
But what is homonym?
Excuse me?
So,
What is homonym?
ad hominem is
Ad
against
hominem.
the man attack. And
Why are you talking for me? She just asked me a question, I thought. Why are you
Okay,
speaking for me? Now he's got to run because he can't control himself and manage his own affairs. So when he's asked why he would answer for me, he runs. Another runner. He's got no fucking common sense and common ethic. Hey, Paul, what's this mean? Hey, Paul, I want an interaction with you. Blah, 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 blah. Right, great. Go start your own broadcasts. Go pretend to be me like they all do. Put a mask on, act like a gorilla, pretend to be me. And then you can live through me vicariously while pretending to be someone online. You know? So, yeah, my understanding of it is because we all want to talk about what we know, but then we all somehow have different, like, definitions in our personal mapping for what these words and terms mean. It's basically a descriptor of the man or an attack on the man. Right, an ad hominem attack would be an attack toward the man, right? Ad hominem. So since most of these creatures on here are chimpanzee-like hominoids, they think I'm doing ad hominem attack when I describe their chimpanzee-like state of beingness. That's not an ad hominem attack. That's a description of the being state of consciousness. Right?
Right.
See, that's one of the walls they like to throw up to insulate themselves from accountability. Oh, once you do ad hominem attack, the debate's over. There's no debate. You're a loser failure. You lack inspiration, power, and value in your life. That's clear. That's a description of your fucking current condition and state. It's not an attack on the man. I didn't say you're an ugly old bitch. And that was for Wizard, of course, right? And then the bitch part should have been left out. I didn't call you ugly and old. Make an attack on you as the man, the physical beingness. I'm describing your state of beingness and the results you're producing. It's not an ad hominem attack. You're just a sensitive hoe. And when your faults and shortcomings are pointed out, you want to act out and rebel because you're a broken child. You still haven't come in alignment with truth and justice under your own will. You got to be willed to it by a daddy. Well, I'll help you. That's how I know you're godless. Because if you were truly God-fearing man, you're to get your fucking life in line and you get your presentment in line. You just think there's no consequences here. That's why you need a daddy online, because you don't observe the original creational force. Studio is full. Someone's trying to get in. OTW, I'm going to cut you loose, not because I don't want you here, but because you're at work. So I'm going to go ahead and cut you loose because we got other folks here who are talking. And I'd rather you be working anyway than on the panel talking if that's what you need. A lot of other folks here need that. They just haven't recognized it yet. Was it Hank? Hank, were you the person trying to get in? Hank's back. All right, well, if someone else is trying to get in, I'll get the notification again, and then I'll drop somebody. Jeremy, your thoughts? You got any thoughts?
Can I ask Hank a question?
Yes.
When did you become comfortable speaking publicly?
I was comfortable when I was a child, pretty much.
Oh, cool.
I'm just doing it more to train myself.
Paul, I wanted to ask you, did you ever have a problem looking in the mirror? Or still?
Did I ever have a problem looking in the mirror? Absolutely.
It's just that person character. It makes no sense. Today I was just sitting realizing I'm such a chicken shit when it comes to public, either exposure or speaking. My heart just went crazy.
Yeah, that's what starts it. Everybody, I think, at some point in
Holy
these
moly.
venues has a problem looking in the mirror for many reasons.
Whew, I had no idea. Holy cows.
Holy cows, man.
Yeah. But pretty much,
yeah.
I'm an open book. If you want to ask me something, I just want to, catch myself. If I'm, a bitch-ass motherfucker in some way, I want to be cut and, scolded. And you are the only people that I will allow, to do that. I'm surrounded.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that we're now at a time where, women are, again, I don't play favorites and I don't play like gender norms in the sense of accountability and responsibility, right? We're all accountable and responsible on some level to this metaphysical that becomes physical dynamic. The problem is that in a normal society or community or culture, the men are supposed to be doing certain things and the women are not supposed to have to concern themselves with that. But because we don't have men doing certain things, now women have had to step up and concern themselves with the right thing and what needs to be done, right? More than necessary, right? Because there's a middle equal ground where it's necessary for both parties, but we're sorely lacking in accountable, responsible, authentic. Hello, someone's feeding back. What is that? So yeah, it's like again, we're Hopi prophecy season. When the cobwebs are in the sky, the women will be forced to do what the men have neglected. So yeah, it's like on some level, if we want to do the game, if the man is the dog, well, the woman's always the bitch, right? I mean, it's just the way that nature created it. The man is superior physically, so the woman is supposed to want to submit to the man if he is trustworthy and she feels safe and he's honorable and accountable. Most women don't feel safe intrinsically with the men of this day because they know they're cowards. So subconsciously, they do not have safety and trust with them. So they will not submit to them. And that's why we have women trying to become like men, right? And do what men are supposed to do. So, when I say bitch ass motherfucker to these men, I'm talking about them acting like hoes, right? And again, there's women, there's bitches, and there's hoes. So an honorable woman is going to be a complementary force to an honorable man. And they're going to find each other based on objective logic, morals, and ethics and principles. And they're going to live a certain lifestyle and value system. Right. So, again, I don't typically, go after women for anything other than what I go after men for, which is them putting on record their cowardice and then their excuses and justifications, whatever the situation is. Right. So,
you know what you can do with me? Because I spent 25 years there and 25 here. So we can use that. You can ask me anything.
What, Russia?
Truly. Yeah. It started Soviet Union, and then after the split, it was Ukraine. And then
okay, so give me your firsthand perspective then, because we got a lot of fucking people on here who've never been anywhere who like to talk about what shit is based on what they've seen on TV. You have the firsthand perspective. Tell me the similarities and differences between the USSR and the modern day American Republic, so to speak.
USSR and American Republic. Well, there's nothing to compare. I was in communism. I came to capitalism, and just one ism, replaced the other one. So
okay, so basically
it was created as a total opposition to each other.
Right, and then usually what we find is there's some truth in the middle, and that's why everyone keeps fighting and arguing for false premises.
Whatever we, screaming and proud of over there, you guys looking down on, and whatever you guys proud of. Like we always had the caricature. I came from the time of Soviet Union, so we had this magazine, and it was called Crocodile. and it was this big capitalist with a huge belly, ugly looking, pig nose, and yeah. I loved those magazines back then, but the propaganda was crazy. So
All right, let's get objective about it. If you're on Russia, can you own guns that the rest of the world is making or has access to, or like AK-47? Hey, the Kalashnikov. That's the home of the Kalashnikov. So can everyone have Kalashnikovs or no? Because slaves.
well, I've been here, last 25 years, but I would say, like, if you're a man, in the image of God, you're gonna have that gun anyway,
Right, but I'm asking
Can
you,
they
what's
have-
their policy? What's their policy? You know more than I do.
I have no idea because I'm not.
What was the policy
communicating with
back then? Can you buy guns or not openly?
No.
No, right. So you're under collectivism. That's what I figured.
Right.
Right? Guns are for military servants, not for the people. So you're already enslaved because your military has all the fucking equipment you aren't allowed to have access to. So they rule you indirectly, if not directly. It's the same thing I told the kid from Finland. So again, there's only one reason or a few reasons for American exceptionalism, and that is the idea that the people were held in higher regard than their servants. When the servants are held in higher regard than the people, we have slavery and collectivism, and you can call it whatever ism you want. Capitalism is just crony capitalism at this point, riding off the back of entrepreneurialism and free trade. So you got the merger of state and corporate powers. That's the definition of fascism by Mussolini, and it's pretty much world fucking wide, and you can call it whatever you want. There really is not much there's really not much distinguishing at this point between fascism, communism, collectivism, democracy, socialism, and all the rest. And quite frankly, the republic, because one has obfuscated the other. Thoughts, expert panel? Let's just sit there.
I was curious, Osprey, how did you find the channel, the panel?
Oh, I've been watching since it started.
Oh,
I'm one
okay.
of those that you're always talking about. They sit there watching it forever and they never come to the panel. I was like,
I think
gotta
I've
do
seen
it.
your name in chat. No?
Just today, first time. I'm not much, typing, texting. Hate that shit.
So
Why is
Wizard
it-
actually has now people from his shitty channel over here pretending to agree with him objectively when it's obviously a subjective fucking campaign. You're really that pathetic that you would use your audience to try to bolster your false ego and fraud and grift online and make them look even more foolish than you do? Oh, I just came to the conclusion, Wizard's right, that everyone here just wants Discord, not living on the truth of their own experience. No, that's him. So you just came over here with an insulting Brian O'Shea name and then tried to agree with Wizard when all the facts show different. So either you're lying right now for his favor or you're delusional, in which case I just banned you. Go be with you and him and people like you and him who don't want Discord but live on the truth of their real life experiences. Right. Give me a break.
Let's go further with this. So let's assume we did just want Discord. What's next, Wizard? What should we do? How do we get out of the way?
Wizard is Talcott at this point. He's not a leader anywhere in life. The only thing he's grasping onto at this point is the legal lawful tied to the spiritual, which he doesn't live as much as he could. It's easy to not pay tax when you don't make value in any way, when you have no value. Right? It's easy to travel freely when you have no property to travel in and have to come here to get motorbikes. Give me a fucking break, dude. I'm half your age and have lived the truth more than you already, and it didn't take me 93 cases to figure it out either.
I feel like the controversy is okay as long as you're working towards resolution. I think it's
Right. We've had many conflicts in the past, and there's been times where we work toward resolution and times where it just becomes ridiculous, insanity and absurdity. And that's what he's caught in. He doesn't want resolution. He knows the way to resolution. Get up on panel and talk like a man. Stop shouting from the chat in all caps. You look like an embarrassment. You sat here for a year and a half and ran your fucking mouth and called everybody everything under the sun while masquerading as some loving spiritual man. So pick one. Pick some fraud you're going to keep running with. It's not authentically you. You're not accountable, obviously, not even to yourself or to your life partner. So what do I have any use for you? You're just upset like most people now, Wizard. You're doing the thing they all do. Once I realize I have little to no use for you and you can't grift here anymore and get benefits and privileges, you start acting out. Just move on with your life. Go do whatever the fuck you were doing before you met your daddy. And I turned your whole inside and your whole life upside down and showed it for what it was.
I would give you a tip, Wizard. If you accused me of being a spy, it would have been more believable. But of course, I would bill you because that I found my hammer, so I will totally bill you. So, so you better have some money.
Wizard just keeps digging his hole further and further with his favorite shovel.
Yep. Turns out he carries a shovel not to hit people with, but to dig his own holes. We never realized that's what he meant when he said, "I have a shovel, motherfucker."
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Great stuff, Wizard. Great showing. That's why your numbers are growing. They're going over there now. They don't get it. When they go to this point and their numbers start going up, they don't get it. It's for people to follow the train wreck and watch it explode. You think they're getting
he's just
clout up
incredibly
there? Go ahead.
He just seems incredibly butthurt that men 20, 30 years younger than him have surpassed his honor and dignity more. I mean, like, as far as like him fighting for these, like fighting against these legal codes and all this stuff, like at the end of the day, you know, he's just proving what a butthurt fucking bitch he is and how like men that are literally like half his age or twice or three times the man he could ever hope to be. So this is just a huge indictment on his character here. You can see the incredible seething butthurt coming out of him right now. Listen, Wizard, you're an old fucking bitter man. Listen, repeat after me, Wizard. I'm not a victim. I'm a failure. And my name will be forgotten from the earth.
Jeremy on it again. I mean,
That's great.
a new fan favorite. We don't need Wizard here anymore. We got Jeremy. He's way better.
Well, we don't know
Fuck you, brother.
We don't know the gender yet. What do you identify as, Jeremy?
I don't even care if Jeremy's Illumitami at this point. I'm willing to accept him in this form.
What do you mean? What do you mean as far as identity?
I don't. Oh, you tell me if you have a gender or something. Maybe you're just a robot. I'm cool with whatever.
Thanks, Hank.
Are you potentially the composer of Man Boobs? Did you get that? Are you potentially the composer of Man Boobs, a hit single about Tarek and his non-muscle shirt?
That would not be me.
Okay. Say no more.
Though he does have some pretty big boobs.
Right. Miscellaneous commentary. No, I'm not him, but I will attest to the fact that he does have a fairly good size set there. All right.
That was a good one,
Pretty chest heavy.
Ron Jeremy.
Man, I just, me and the audience really want to find out who this guy is long term. We're so invested at this point. We have to find out. It'll happen. Right? We're going to find out who this is.
I really don't care. My guess.
Well, fuck you, Hank. You don't have to be part of this. I didn't ask you to be.
No,
You just said I and the audience. That didn't include you.
Oh, okay.
We're really excited about who Jeremy is and finding out at some point. We're on the hook. We're invested.
That's a good one, JG. Shut up, Hank.
What's the point of this name?
Hank,
Yes.
I was wondering something. The other day when all those Cockbody and Flow State crews were like ganging up on Brian O'Shea for actually standing up for his manhood, were you like just pussyfooting around with those those betas over there and kind of just trying to go along to get along, or were you calling them out on their bullshit?
So you see, I use a different strategy than you. The old officer staff strategy failed really badly, so I will not use that one.
I mean, you know what they were doing wasn't right.
Yeah, I just gotta let you know I have a different strategy to just subvert their insults, and I'm gonna continue using it because it looks like it works better than the old officer snap strategy. But you can do what you want.
Your analysis on that presentment, Jeremy, do you believe him that this is in fact a long drawn out strategy, or is this just a way to limit his liability in all venues and to play both sides?
I think he's just pussyfooting around the fact that he is a panel hopper, he is a fence rider, and that yeah, I mean, if he wanted to, he could just confront Shock Body himself tomorrow and say, "Listen, Shock, you're a fucking bitch. You think being a man equates to making $75,000 a year at your Costco job and puckering up whenever the policy enforcement come by to break up my family or taxes, this and that." I mean, you do the same thing with Flow. You go to TSM, Flow. You're just like yo-yoing all around the place with these panel verses, and you know, you never really ultimately want to get confrontational with people because you always want to have a place to settle down, put your foot in. I mean, let's just be honest. It is what it is.
The reality of it is what it seems to me is Hank thinks he's like tricking everyone, but some people can't be tricked because they can see who and what the people are and what it is. It's more likely Hank doesn't have an objective value system or set of principles, and he pretty much will go wherever he's accepted or where he's liked or entertained. And he never really wants to have to take a stand or go on record with some objective claim or belief system or ideology.
All right. Can I answer for myself then?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I'll make objective claims and stances only when they make sense to me. So if you have an issue about what panels I go to, just give me a list of your approved panels and we can talk about it.
No, I would never presume to have or even accept a power that is not righteously within the covenant, so to speak. So I don't have a list of panels where I want you to go or not go. See, that's a false appeal to false authority, right? That's not what I'm claiming. I'm just giving you an analysis of what I see from you, just as he is. You can take it or leave it. There is nothing emotional or personal about it.
Yeah. But yeah, give me a list of
let's just be real, you're a jab black gay witch, you dumb
man,
fuck.
the creature.
And
creature's been released.
Jab gay witch. Jeremy's on fire as usual. You're a two-faced fuck that shit on Brian O'Shea, who is fucking shitting on him with Flow State and all of them. Oh yeah, he should be in prison. Oh yeah, now you're sitting side by side saying you got tactics. You also supporting pedophiles, and you were making fun of Sam. Interesting shit. You were like making fun of Sam in the chat. Oh, interesting shit, Hank. You fucking are a piece of shit, Hank. You jab population control fuck. You go get some goo on your fucking torso. Even this Russian bitch ain't gonna touch your nasty ass. Hey, do you guys got dudes black goo on your torsos in Russia? Like this freak, she probably looks at you and says, "What the fuck is wrong with America? You fucking sick fuck."
So, Officer Snaps, what gives you the authority to tell me what
you
to
just
do?
made an excuse for shitting on Daddy. You made an excuse what Jeremy called your ass out on. You're a two-faced fuck. You're a two-faced fuck, bro. You're a two-faced jab fuck. Go.
You heard it from the horses. You heard it from the horse's mouth too. He admitted that he knows what they're doing isn't right. He's like, "Oh yeah, Flow State is a disingenuous piece of shit, just like Cock Body and the machine fucking lies, that piece of crap." And he says, "Well, I just want to be up there. I'm playing 5D chess. I'm playing the long game." We all know what you're doing, Hank. You just
you know what's funny, Jeremy? I keep telling him when the fucktards get me in court, Hank's gonna have to fucking be Derek does got some boobies Randy Reed. That's what I'm wondering. Is this Randy Reed, Jeremy?
When hence I saw sight which filled me up with fright. Made me say, oh Lord, this fellow in his muscle shirt was flashing lots of skin, but he didn't seem to notice all the folks that stared and grinned. His boobs were hanging out and flopping like two bowling pins. May God have mercy, bless my soul, I'm so thankful I'm not him. With those man boobs.
I gotta ask you a serious question, Jeremy. What's your thoughts on Randy Reeves? Because you sound a lot like Randy Reeves, sir. Just curious, Jeremy. You said a lot of right shit, but I'm just curious. Is this right shit you're saying?
Now, what if he is Randy Weaves in a twist of fate, and you're now forced to align with one of your supposed enemies?
Play a game here, and he knows what kind of game he's playing here.
See, I wish I could give you an accurate analysis of Randy, but I've never even checked out his channel. So who is it?
Okay, I don't think you are. You know why the crew don't think you're Randy Reeves, and we pretty much think we know who you are, but I'm not gonna say. Is because you've been very expressive about CBO and TBE, and an old piece of shit. Randy Reeves is not invested in some of those players. So he's not Randy Reeves. I just had to make it public for the people watching.
It's just mind blowing to me, actually, that a lot of the players over here are even more against the CBO panel verse or universe or whatever, because they are openly admitting that they want the Vatican and its armies through the United Nations to stage an invasion of America.
They are. Yes, they are. And CBO actually fucking told me the other day, he tried to tell me that satanic ritual agendas on children are fake. All these missing children shit is fake. And CBO is a piece of shit, man.
You know why they say that? Because they say it's a planned media psyop, and they say we are now post-truth and we're above it all. And the real truth is that the truther movement is a psyop, and that we need to defer our values and judgment and authority to government-funded corporate churches run by the Vatican.
See, Jeremy's on fire, man. Hank, you're two-faced fuck, by the way.
Yeah. See, I'm like Snafu. I'm like Snafu, like there's like AD and BC Snafu. Like, Snafu goes wide-eyed and gullible to like Alex Jones and the rest of the truthers, and then he uncovers this horrible world behind the scenes of corruption, privately owned government operators. I'm like that now. I could have never imagined or believed that all these people who were just arguing with me constantly would just show themselves completely to be not only infidel scum, but completely treasonous and traitorous. I go, this is like, you can't write this. This is Hollywood movie level. And then I wonder, is this just a spiritual dynamic, or are these guys all paid to do this? Like, I never thought this is how when you watch these movies or you read books and stories about the lore and mythology, it's exactly what we're experiencing on this platform. Like Snafu's, to me, the village idiot. I go, this guy's ridiculous. He's crazy. He's the last person that I've given any credence to. The more that I've let him speak and the more I've let these other folks show themselves, the more I go, holy shit. The village idiot was on to way more than the rest of us wanted to give him credit for because of his presentment. And then I have to look at how most people won't listen to me because I have a shockingly similar presentment at times. I'm loud, I'm obnoxious, I'm abrasive, I make objective, broad-brushing claims, and people go, this guy's insane. See, that's a reflection story, right? That's like that's where you get the truth in the last place you wanted it, is how this force works. You thought you were going to get it from Carl Lentz completely. You thought you were going to get it from, Alphonse. You thought you were going to get it from Rose and Crow or David Rodriguez or whoever, whatever. And then it oddly enough, the back channels of YouTube where the shadow banning goes on is more revealed, right? In the dark recesses, away from the prying eyes of no business, right? It's not show business. It's no business on here. It's like E-list celebrity wannabes who, desperately need content because they're not content with themselves and don't understand themselves in life.
Yeah.
Beyond fascinating. Doing this broadcasting has opened up the rest of the world and given me way more of the pieces that I apparently need to go forward and do whatever it is that I'm doing in this journey. Because like it said before, I don't know where this goes or where it ends. I only know in the now, doing the next right thing and adhering to certain values and principles. The rest remains to be seen. But
you know, I got honest to say, I see when people like Jeremy show up or others lately that have been opening their eyes, and you don't even have to talk. Like they just say it for what it is, just like you said, exactly what you're thinking without saying it. And so, I mean, Hank, you could have that big ass smile on your face, but when Jeremy called you on that shit, I've called you for a long time. Daddy's called you. Like you have a big ass smile thinking it's okay. I cannot wait till the world gets to a point where you cupcakes, the icing is gonna be fucking shaved off. You little fuckers think it's cute. You say we're traitors and treasonous and criminals, and just like Jeremy said, like them supporting the shit they're supporting, you guys don't even get what you're fucking doing. You're a fucking scumbag, two-faced fuck, and you know it, Hank.
All right, leave it alone, Snafu. At the end of the day, bro,
we know you will.
leave it alone. At the end of the day, we can talk and do indictments, right? Like with the words, but the truth is going to stand one way or the other, and then the individual, quote unquote, will generate their results. So if you want to, quote unquote, help him to save his soul, presuming you can, or that he's asking you for that, then go ahead. But if not, there's no point in condemning him. He has his walk and his perspective, and he's going to make his choices. And the best way to compel him back to virtuousness and righteousness, presuming he's not that and that you've made a determination, is not to attack him. Right? It's like I don't believe that he's doing anything maliciously. I think that if he is in error, it's because he knows not what he does. Right? So again, if you're going to claim to be a Christian and talk all that Bible shit you do, then you got to fucking show him love and care and righteous truth without the condemnation and the attacks, because he will never receive it that way. Right? Well, I don't believe he's a malicious character. I don't believe he's caught up in the mix, bro. He's lost in the sauce, if anything. He's not a bad actor.
And, you know, at least Hank has the dignity to come up here on panel and, you know, give his side of things. But on the other hand, you know, Benton, who is a complete coward, a complete reprobate at this point, won't even show his face, won't even show his voice, won't even show his icon up here on panel anymore once he got exposed last summer for being a fucking two-faced, duplicitous idiot when he removed...
Well, just like this guy down there right now, Hard Hat. Just the other day, he was drunk again, running his fucking mouth. And the day before, when I was on the panel with him, he was laughing at me, giggling, thought I was the greatest. Why do you got to keep doing that, bro? Why do you got to keep destroying your reputation, credibility, and self-respect online? You don't have no issues with me. You've contributed to me in the past. Another guy who's giving me shit without me asking because you see value in me, more value than you probably see in yourself and the life you're living. Whose fault is that, bro? Why do you got to hate on me? I've never hated on you or anyone else. And if I've talked bad, quote unquote, or I've made you feel something, it's probably because I saw a truth you needed to hear. So why am I catching shit from you on other panels when you get in the room with me, you're the nicest guy ever, you laugh at all my jokes, you love your daddy. How do you think that makes you look, bro? The same way it went on the street. You big for nothing motherfuckers get in the room with me, you're laughing and giggling, smoking my weed, Paulie's the funniest, greatest guy ever. Then I get the word you're talking shit across town at the after party. And then I got to pop up on you. Why? For what?
How about this? I'll drop down so Hard Hat could hop up. He won't be the only gay boy on the panel. You got Hank here, so Hard Hat, hop up. It's okay. We love you, brother.
Right. I'd rather, if we're gonna bring gay boys up here, I'd rather you stay so he can feel more comfortable.
Piece of shit, traitors supporting fucking pedo supporting piece of shit, Hank.
Then give me a list of your proof panels, then, and we can discuss them.
Hank, you're smarter than that. You're acting like a dumbass. You know when you go to close and shit on Daddy or me or others, like people watch that, and then you come up here and act like you never fucking talk shit about all of us, hanging out with those people. No, Hank, you're a fucking idiot. You're smarter than people are giving you credit for. You know what's right and wrong, and you know what you're doing. You're playing two sides of the fence, and that shit's not going to work for too long in the real world. Again. You're gonna have to explain to your caregivers why you're gonna be subpoenaed in court. You're gonna have to explain to your caregivers why you're being subpoenaed in court.
Act outs. Like when he does physical comedy. That's my thing. What do you mean?
Remember, Jeremy got the camera on, so we can talk to each other like men, look into each other's faces. But you need to hide from.
Can you do an impression of Snafu and act it out? Are you open to that?
Oh my, that's the. I'm gonna do what I do. Well, you know, there's those Opigo pogos and all these cupcakes on panel, and they like that.
Yeah, but I don't look as autistic and retarded, Paul. Look at that. He's getting through the camera and is autistically retarded.
I'll have you know, Snafu, that while I don't necessarily, again, this is perception. I don't perceive that Hank and I are completely aligned. What else is new, by the way? Raise your hand if that hasn't been the experience. I'm very Talcottian from the other angle. But you know, like I see him as potentially highly intelligent in certain ways. It's not what is going to be perceived as conventional intelligence by the majority of unintelligible slaves. But again, this is he embodies what I see as
right. He's intelligent, but he's hanging out with fucking criminals, traitors, frauds.
Right, because his heart is not in alignment. That's an energy thing. That's an emotional thing. That's an emotional thing. You have to also concede that Hank, being probably a highly intelligent person, which they call autistic, probably has a disconnect with certain emotions and experiences when it comes to other people. I could argue that's equally as much could be a strength as it could be perceived as a weakness, because we know emotional appeal to false emotion and false authority is what got us all into this. So again, if he can start to see different results and outcomes that lead him to reverse engineer what's going on, his heart will probably come into more alignment to a certain space of beingness, and then we won't have to have this conversation. The way to do that is not by consistently calling him a gay black witch.
Let's just be real. If he acted this way in the real world, that smile would get slapped off his bitch ass fucking face.
Well, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna slap him? Are you gonna slap him?
Yeah, you guys.
Fuck yeah, I'd slap the fuck out of these motherfuckers.
All right, well, you may be surprised, man. They say you want to keep calling him retarded. Retards have strength, bro. He might fuck you up.
It's okay, he can fuck me up. I still slap the fuck out of him.
Hank, I've got a very simple question for you. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, what do you think would more constitute what a man is? The actions that Brian O'Shea has taken part in the last week, or Cockbody making $75,000 a year and puckering up to the police whenever they pull him over for a traffic citation?
It's a good question.
They're both.
Oh yeah, and that he spat out 2 or 3 children. Blah blah blah. Like he claimed.
I think he just answered. I think he was just on the way of answering you, and it's very indicative to him. Being a man or woman has to do solely with one's biology. So he's, I think, going to appeal to. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're both men because they both have supposedly penis and you know, genitalia.
No, that's male. Male and men's different things. So one of them providing for their family, another them standing up to the man. Both of them are men in their own respects.
Right, but if a man has to sell his soul in order to get scraps for his family, then he no longer he ceases to be a man, metaphysically, right?
Yeah, but
he's a slave.
When you were on panel,
again, Brian O'Shea doesn't have a family. He doesn't have children and people under him that he owes obligations and responsibilities to. He has his first responsibility, which is to himself and what he sees as true and right.
Yeah. So
Hank, when Flo was saying this was Paul's fault, Hank, when you were on panel and all of them, including Cynthia, were saying this was Paul's fault and O'Shea's a retard, do you agree with that? Because you didn't say anything to any of them.
And O'Shea's not a retard.
You were shaking your head, yes.
I knew you'd be out pretty quickly. It was not Paul's fault.
So why didn't you tell them it wasn't Paul's fault? Why didn't you stand up there and say, "Hey guys, this ain't Paul's fault. Brian O'Shea's an adult."
Because I was doing something else. I'm a busy guy. Well,
or when Toilet said that it's going to be, he effectively implied this in a kind of veiled way, but he said it's going to be justified when the police end up loading Brian up with a bunch of 9s because of
witches that are gay
supposedly groomed him to do.
So let's be clear, right? I'm not doing the casting people completely out. I'm not doing the everyone's irredeemable. Far from it. I don't deny what Mr. Cuckbody down there to be, you know, the affectionate term we're using here. I have no hate for him. You know, I believe we were all brought here and into each other's presence to embody the same set of principles and ideals. I think some people are attempting to do that more than others completely, if that makes sense. And that's not really a value judgment. It's really a judgment of your values and how much you're living them. It doesn't mean
Well,
you're a valueless person and that you don't have redeemable qualities and that you potentially wouldn't be one of the best warriors for quote unquote Christ and God, as you all like to purport. I contend that's what you're all doing here. We're going through training, becoming that, right?
Yeah.
So
I wonder.
Well, you can just
talk
kind
about
of
more
read
about
into the
about-
butthurt here in Chalk's comment here, because it's a complete indictment on his character, his or status as a man. You know, because this is how he identifies himself as a man. I make $85,000 a year at
But you're not even
Costco,
on camera,
and
bro.
I do whatever the policy.
Hank, let him
enforcement
finish.
tell me. I pay my taxes. You know, I work whatever these crazy number of hours, but in reality, you know, like when he gets called out on this stuff, it's a huge indictment on his identity as a man, and he just completely breaks down. If he were to come up on this panel right now, he would run within 5 minutes because he knows what he was saying about Brian. It was wrong, just like Hank, you know, even acknowledged that earlier.
right, there's multiple components to this walk, right? You got to like get up in the morning, own or have your property in trust so you're not taxed on it, because if not, you're forced to pay tribute to the king for supposedly what's your property. You got to be able to get into your car, modern day mode of transport, move freely down to whatever your place of busyness is, your career, and be able to pursue some level of co-creation that makes you redeemable, honorable, moral, or just, you know, a positive function in the community around the land, right? And you also have to be able to speak freely and live freely in the process while completing the mission. If you don't have all those components together, you're already a slave. It's just a question of levels to it. What point in your day are you forced to comply and cooperate with a whole bunch of crap that doesn't apply to men and women or anywhere else in life, other than they told us, and if not, then they're going to do something to us. So again, we're forced here to cultivate faith over fear. It seems to be a very simple, boiled down spiritual simulation dynamic. You're either living in faith the majority of your life or completely, or you're not, in which case you're living in fear. And of course, the characterization of a man who lives in fear and does what he's told is a coward. So those words have meaning for a reason. It describes a condition we're all living from the beginning of time. If you're okay living in fear and doing what you're told and being characterized as a coward by yourself, your subconscious, and other folks around you and the spirit of creation, then I don't have a problem with it. So why you folks have a problem with me that I have a problem with being characterized as a coward is beyond me. But it's not. Because again, you always have to attack the reflection of who and what you are or what you're not. So when you see me living into that and actualizing and realizing, you know you have to attack it to try to stop it. Because if I complete it, it's going to be a conviction and indictment on who and what you are and what you're not. That's just subconscious power dynamics all day, every day. I mean, it's like 101. You guys all attack me first for what I'm doing that doesn't concern you, but concerns you because you won't do it and live it, even though you're losing and failing and you're living in cowardice.
Yeah, I want to talk about my character. So Paul assessed it correctly that my heart's out of line.
All right, here's the delusional CBO here.
Hey, I just got to say one thing. I know who Jeremy is. But before everyone knows, this is the channel called Gutter Shit Media. It's a channel on YouTube called Bach Precision. He's a Muslim piece of shit. That stops me.
About everything he says, whoever he is, you're a fucking
okay.
delusional.
He's actually is a pedophile. He is a pedophile.
Do you know where you are right now?
This guy is an actual pedophile, Snafu. I busted him out for years. Look up Bo Kura.
God damn it, Paul.
OREH.
So fucking schizo.
BOQREH.
Gutter shit. Justify his failed.
Okay, so let's be clear. You don't get to come on here and do equivocations and equalizations with everything he's been saying is true by just throwing out that he's a pedophile.
Yeah, I don't believe him one bit.
Right? We're not doing that game because see what a lot of you dogmatic religionists who live in opposition to the law and the truth you speak to try to take power over people is you try to stick them with a label or characterize them as something, knowing that the public appeal, right, the public indictment is going to be enough to discredit them. I don't work that way. That's been used on me before, so I'm not going to accept that. If you want to present me firsthand facts, not even evidence, If you want to present me facts to that matter, I will review those facts and I will report them. Till you have that and you put that forth to me, and don't tell me I got to go sift through your crap to find it, because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no reason to believe Drew is a credible journalist any
Neither
more
do
than I
I.
have reason to believe Snafu Snaps is a credible journalist. Let's be Hank
I do
about it.
believe I am credible.
Well, you could believe, again, the most non-credible
I
people
know.
are usually the one. Don't talk over me, whoever it is. The most non-credible people are always the ones to believe they're most credible. Have you not noticed that? Joe Biden's your president. So I'm very wary of the folks who believe in themselves the most. They're usually the least competent. That's what's shocking about this realm. It's the ones with the most talent and ability who doubt themselves the most, it seems. The ones who are retarded have no problem telling you how much of a genius they are. Ask Jack Talcott.
I don't believe Jeremy's presented anything that threw red flags, but
Right. Again, I'm not in his bedroom, and if he's not in prison, and your boy Little Dick Sam hasn't thrown him in the lake yet, I got no reason to believe he's doing what you say he's doing. I have more reason to believe you would try to discredit him. Don't talk over me. I'm not talking to you, fuck slave. It's not all about you constantly. I know you can't accept that. I'm talking to the cuck body in the back making faces, opening his mouth wide, acting like a child. I'm talking to him because I know people like him and what they do and their tactics, because they've done it with me to try to discredit me, because they want to insulate themselves from the consequences of the liability they've created online and offline. A horrible tactic.
I'm trying to save you from being associated with this guy.
Again, you don't have to save me from anything. I have no knowledge of that firsthand, and I don't do what he does if he does that. So nice try for safety, trying to save me from what I have no problem with. I just told you, if you have the firsthand facts of him fucking children, you better email it to me ASAP. Then I can make an informed, consensual decision on who I want to distance myself from. False authority, false emotion. Get it?
But
Well,
you see how
Jeremy,
he
do-
deflects
are you
from
the
the
channel
indictment
who's
on his
claiming
failed
you to
life
be?
as a man to creating these baseless, made-up conspiracy theories where he comes up here with this seething butthurt and he makes up all this slanderous libel when he knows the fact of the matter is
Jeremy,
he's
listen to
never
this
been a
logic.
fucking man.
Listen to this logic. A guy who's done nothing but attack me, demean me, and try to undermine me today is all of a sudden here to save me from what you've offered, which I've had no problems with. Could you imagine the emulation of his government and false God? He's doing it here now. Hey, I'm here to help and save you. Oh, the guy who's been oppressing me, attempting to repress me, persecute me, prosecute me, is all of a sudden showing up to help me and save me? Yeah, right, cuck body.
The very guy who 2 nights ago said was going to end up becoming responsible for Brian's getting loaded up with bullets, with 9s, by the policy.
He's trying to help me and save me and tell me who I should distance myself from. Broken host style, right? He thinks I'm subject to his false power games and manipulation like him. No, I'm not.
Jeremy's brought optics to the plate, man. And CBO, if you have anything to show, I'd say the same thing as Paul. Show it, man.
It's his open platform here. It's his open platform here, as you know. Mr. Cuck Body could claim whatever he pleases. He has open forum here. He can do and say whatever he pleases as long as he allows me to get a word in when I need to, just like everyone else.
Yeah, but yeah, Officer Snaps and Illumina Jeremy does to me what Cockbody outline does to Paul.
What are you talking about? You're deflecting from your bullshit of knowing your shit on people. We called out your optics of being a two-faced fuck. This has nothing to do with what CBO and Jeremy and Paul or myself are talking about.
It's the same pattern.
Hey out there, it's me. It's Paul. Have you seen Drew, my slave? Come on in. We're
Can you hear that?
another paw print. That's what we do. We get presumptive like a douchebag. You know what to do. Drew's clues. Oh, look at this. What a surprise. Drew still hasn't found a clue. Now that you're here, we can help him find one.
I'm just looking out for you, Paulie. Believe it or
I
not.
love you, Andrew. You know
I have years of beef with this guy. I know who he is because it's the Gutter Shit Media profile. You slipped, Bokura. You were slipping. But I'll send you that shit for real. It's just gonna take me some time to get it to you for real.
I want to see it too, Drew. If you claim
You better turn that over to my warthog creature. You better turn that over to my warthog creature because he's on the job. He doesn't ever take off.
I think this is just I think CBO. I think you're talking shit. Really, I think you're making shit up. To be honest with you, but if you have it, I'll look.
Well, let me ask Jeremy directly. Let me ask him directly. I'll give him an opportunity because again, let's be clear here as well. If he's guilty of past transgressions and he's reformed himself in his life at this time and does not live that way any longer, then that judgment goes to God, as your religion says. I'm not here to judge him on his past transgressions. If you're guilty of the least of it, you're guilty of the most of it. And if you're not going to tie the millstone around his neck and throw him in the water, well, then don't give me the quotes and the dogma and use the state to back it. Right? So, again, I'll ask him directly, is there any truth to the allegations or accusations that you've had inappropriate interactions or affairs with what could be characterized as a child?
All of the accusations he just leveled against me are lies. He is making up baseless conspiracy theories to justify his failed existence, his idea in his head that he is a man because he does this and that, makes some money, and poops out some kids, when in reality, he's over here desperately trying to bring down those that are standing for God-given rights, while at the same time claiming to be a man of God himself when he isn't a man at all. So there it is.
Okay, maybe it is.
I got one question too. Just one question, Jeremy. Is the channel he claimed you to be you? Which is fine. Is the channel he claimed to be you?
Are you Gutter Shit Media?
No.
Let's start there. You are not Gutter Shit Media, but you have the exact same profile picture, which I have archived. Just coincidence.
Well, profile picture doesn't mean it's the same guy, dude. What the fuck is that?
Like, that's a obscure profile pic and a pretty obscure account.
Sounds like you're pretty.
It sounds like you really don't got nothing, dude. Not to
So,
be,
Jeremy, are you Gutter Shit Media, Jeremy?
Who is Gutter Shit Media?
I feel like it's Tommy, but Tommy would just talk shit about me in his own voice. That's why I think it's this other fucking snake.
Yeah, I've been over this before, and I don't think that Tommy, again, maybe he's...
Oh, see, so you admitted just now you don't know who it is.
Media
he just admitted he don't know who it is, even though he just knew who this was.
Nobody knows who it is, but I know who it is.
You just admitted you said.
Wait a second. So nobody knows who it is, but you also. This is a fascinating cognitive dissonance moment.
You said we know who this is. It's a pedo, and then now you're saying, oh well, maybe it's
then
not.
Then he just deflected to maybe it's Tommy. So how could he know who it is if he's also saying he thinks it's Illuma Tommy? You don't know who it is, just like the rest of us don't. You're presuming to know to avoid the liability of the claims he's made about you.
Yeah, he's made bullshit claims about me. I'm not worried about. I'm worried about
Stop fucking talking over me, man. Fucking snafu snaps all day, every day, with the constant back and forth when I'm in the middle of it. So then address the claims and argue the claims. Don't stick a false jacket on them when you don't even know who it is objectively.
I know. I'll have to get the shit all together. I'm on my phone. I don't have it on me right now, but I can prove the Gutter Shit Media guys, the Bokura guy, who I've proved is a pedo. So it's the same profile picture that he used to comment in this channel for a little while as well. And it'd be a huge stretch to think someone stole that profile picture and put it on another. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but.
Listen, I get that there's a lot of gay men in chat who are attracted to penile. 1 second. I got a lot of gay men in chat just crying out for penile Power's affection. Did you just, it's like the 4th or 5th time with you. Could you relax down there? He'll contact you privately. He'll invite you one of those parties he goes to with, only men dressed up in rainbow outfits. I've seen it. He's done it on panel. It's very Jesse Howell. You were saying?
Well, isn't it kind of rich that the guy that denies the entire allegations or ideas behind the, P-Gate stuff is so quick to judge people as this and that when his own father was one, but let's not even go there right now. I mean, Snafu was bringing this up earlier, that you make the claim that P-Gate and all those events of 2016 with Podesta, so on and so forth, was just a bullshit media psyop because now you're so intelligent, you're post-truther and all this, when you're trying to, you know, disregard all those claims of tens of thousands of people that were supposedly abused. Would you like to answer for that?
Yeah, I would say he's putting words in my mouth. That's not exactly what I said. I said there's tons of pedophilia and child abuse happening in your own town, in your own neighborhood, but they're just regular people, somebody's uncle, some, you know, standard
but not
person. But you shut the fuck up. But they're only caring about it when it's supposedly a celebrity on a world stage or a politician or some shit. But they don't give a shit about hundreds and hundreds, thousands of children abused in their own fucking town.
Right, but one does not, well, they're not mutually exclusive. So to detract from one to make the point about the other seems to be counterintuitive. And what I mean by that is you act as if politicians and folks in government aren't our uncles and our brothers. And what do you think? They come through some membrane from some alternate world? They're people just like us. Many of them from families with us and people just like us. So it's like, to not see the crossover is a violation of logic. If you're talking about localized activity that happens in every home or in a bunch of families, right, but it's not focused on, well, then it also extends to the places of government and civil service, because those are people from homes on America. No?
Yeah, I agree with you there, but at the same time, we're taking the stance that they control, the elites control all media. So really, you're only getting the information they want you to get. So when they give you a Jeffrey Epstein and Podesta and all this stuff, these are sensationalized media stories to push narratives. If they don't want that, if it's real, if it's real and they don't want it out there, then it wouldn't be out there.
I can accept that, but can we also agree that there are some times, see, this is where truthers get caught in their own loop of not being able to actually change anything. Sometimes real shit does get real coverage because it can't be avoided. Right? Can we agree to that? I mean, I was put in a Vice documentary. I wasn't in some deal with people to set narratives. They just ran with a narrative of what was actually going on. You don't think they my-hop and lie-hop, as they say? They make shit happen or they let it happen, and then they corrupt what the fuck's already happening organically. So, you know,
Right. Well,
to
what I'm
presume
talking
that
about
Epstein
more-
is not real or sensationalized, I think is again, a violation of logic potentially. It just may be that it was already going to come out and that everyone was already blowing it up, so they had to project it outward and then spin the narrative, right? These folks are known for getting out ahead of shit that they already know is coming.
How would it get out if they control?
Because people talk and people do coverage and people share information and people do YouTubes. See, you're acting like we don't have an effect or an influence or a change. We absolutely do. So if we start talking far enough, wide enough, and loud enough in enough groups, they're going to have to get out ahead of something and set a narrative because they already know it's going to come to light. The truth always comes to light. Isn't that your religion?
I mean, you can trace these same tactics back even to the early 80s where they just go and call Henry Kissinger a pedophile and run a smear campaign against him. And I've said before, that doesn't mean he's not an evil person or anything, but his political opponents just come out and say, oh, this guy's a pedophile and fucks little boys and shit like that.
Right. What you're missing is both sides do that about the other side, which really just concludes that both sides are involved in all the shit that they're pointing fingers at the other guy for, most likely.
Which is
That's all
what
that
you're
is.
doing as well, Drew, accusing innocent people of being this and that, like you just did like 5 minutes ago. You make all these
that's my point
baseless
the whole time.
accusations. You don't
Well,
even
I'm
know
certain you are the same profile picture as Gutter Shit Media. Now, it would be one hell of a coincidence if you just weren't him and you had the same profile picture.
Okay, please get the documents.
We have a guy covering his face and covering his voice.
You assume everybody is this one guy that you have this huge vendetta against or whatever, this god, this Muslim Bokura. I mean, what's the deal with that? It seems like you have incredible butthurt. Did he do something to expose you?
It's been the opposite. I've exposed him every step of the way.
Hey, Drew, we need you to get those documents so we can analyze them ourselves.
You realize the same activity that you're talking about now with this other person you want credibility for, you've also done the same tactics regarding myself. So
I've
how
said
do you
you're a
deem yourself credible by coming to a place where you've also exposed the host when there was nothing to expose because I wasn't
Wait.
running and lying?
I said you were a pedophile. When did that happen?
No, you say that everything I talk is bullshit, that there's no rights and freedoms, that we all have to cuck to policy, statute, and code, and you say you're going to expose me along with the others as someone who's just grifting and taking advantage of the public off of selling dreams that I don't live. I've heard you all say it at different times, and I've heard you all try to discount and demean what I live and what I do and the influence and the result, and I think it's detestable and deplorable.
Well,
yeah, your own boyfriend said fuck common law.
Said what?
Your own boyfriend, EBT, said fuck common law. He said he wants to see the America conquered by the Vatican, effectively.
Well, what would be better, paying all these taxes or paying 10% to a church? Which one would be better?
See, and that's
You
maybe one of the
presume that
reasons
there's
you have an
another
issue
false
with this
choice
whole-
from a violation of logic. You presume everyone lives under the same covenant or dogma you do. That they believe
Well,
they have to give 10% of whatever the fuck they get in life to a church.
You kill them if
Why do
they
you
don't.
keep false choices
Oh, you-
like
you kill
Democrat,
them if they don't.
Republican? That's the world you live in, huh?
Yeah,
well,
you
what's
do.
your
Not
better choice? Donnie Trump, an insane psychopath, or Joe Biden?
Yeah,
Neither.
a turd sandwich or a giant douche. Like you have to fucking pick or something.
You would just have to kill everyone
Yeah,
that
do you
doesn't
want
have
to
the same
kill
beliefs
yourself
as you.
with this gun or this knife? Make a choice. Come on, make it
But
logical.
you just heard
Why
his
not both?
admission there. He admits that he wants to see all of our rights on paper or whatever shredded up into a million pieces, and he wants the good old Pope to come in and just, I don't know, run whatever bullshit system.
Well, we can come and take them if he wants. Come on, let's see what you can do. Take them by force. Let's see what happens.
Right. Imagine a world where I took at least 10% of what my value was and put it back into myself, the community, whoever, whatever I'm living with or around. Imagine that reality rather than be forced to give it to some corporate master to do war or give it to some Cersei who's going to pimp out the people to some false god. Imagine that world.
Take care, Osprey.
It's called
Paul,
actual charity.
Paul, I got a jet. I don't know if you want to cut the restream or what. That's up to you. But I got a jet. I'll catch up on what I missed later. But peace to all. Peace to you, brother.
Right. Well, did she didn't just hold up or do something that we have to cut for, right?
Negative.
No, she said I'll be back in the future.
Okay. No, you can let it run, bro. That's on you. If you want to let your shit run over there, we can run it till I end it.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to monitor it.
So I just want to know something very basic, like Drew. How do you see the actions that you take in life? How do you see those as superior as far as being a man compared to what O'Shea did a few nights ago during his stop? How do you see yourself as more of a man than O'Shea?
But what was the question? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it because I'm trying to get all this stuff together. What did you say?
Okay, why are you more of a man than O'Shea?
Oh, you're serious? Brian
Yeah,
O'Shea
because when you
doesn't
said that-
do
because you
what does
claimed-
Brian O'Shea do that makes him a man? Nothing.
Okay,
He doesn't
so how
have
does
a
it make-
pot to piss
when
in.
you claim what you would have done in that, you claimed yourself from your own words, what you said you would have done in that similar situation is you would put some rosy red cheeks on your face and puckered up, smiled, and been real nice and polite to the policy enforcers as they pull a new one on you. So yeah, how are you more of a man than O'Shea when he is actually standing for God's rights and God's principles, and you are folding over like a napkin to the
Which God?
system?
Which
Yeah,
God?
which God? That's my question too.
Paul, I put the one of the receipts in the back, but yeah, what's the difference? Brian O'Shea's saying I'm traveling, I'm not driving. He's doing the same shit. He's just trying to Obi-Wan Kenobi his way out of the
Sure, we got a
interaction.
problem in one of your receipts in back is you haven't proved that this is the Bachman, the Muslim. You haven't proved
Okay,
that.
but I'm proving first that it's gutter shit media.
Okay.
So
gutter shit me. Okay, I see what you're saying. GSM has
yeah,
the
yeah.
same.
It was originally gutter shit media, and then he shortened it
All
to
right, I'll
GSM.
show this because it is a rather interesting coincidence. That whoever this gutter shit media person is happens to have the same, some might argue, anomalous profile picture as the man on the panel now.
It's circumstantial, but it's pretty fucking odd.
Now, can we get an answer? Can I get an answer from Mr. Gutter Shit Media here on panel with us here? Can you explain to me what that avatar is? Like, what does that avatar belong to? Where do you find that? What is it reference to?
That's the future of humanity, especially the offspring of.
So you realize that I just tricked you indirectly because I said Gutter Shit Media, you're on panel with us right now, and you didn't deny that you're him. You actually answered.
Gutter Shit Media? Oh yeah, that is me.
Okay. So we did establish that indirectly because I tricked you there, and I'm pretty good at what I do, right? I have a lot of time in the interrogation rooms and I know how they work, so I just use their tactics. Okay, so he admits now, all of a sudden, that he is in fact Gutter Shit Media. So where do we go with that now? What's the link to that? To what else?
So remember earlier in the stream, he said he's not Gutter Shit Media.
I understand that, sir. I'm good at what I do. You're not. Shut up and just give me what I'm asking for.
I don't have all the receipts. I don't have all the receipts on me right in this. I just have this phone right now, but this is the same guy. Me and him have kind of been to war. He stalks me, and I've exposed him many, many times. That's why I know it's him on here with the voice changer.
Understand this. Just because he may be in the same venues as you and disagree with you does not mean I'm going to accept the characterization that he's stalking you. Because, of course, I've been accused of the same thing with other people who I'm not doing that with.
Yeah, you don't have to believe that, but I'm saying ultimately it comes down to it's that Bach Precision guy, and I've exposed other forums online also have exposed him as being like saying real fucking creepy shit about kids. He says like 12 to 45. He'll take them 12 to 45. If you go on YouTube right now and type, I'll find the link for you and put it in the back right now. There's a lady that exposes him for like grooming young children, and he posts things online that says the hymen is the key. I'll find that link literally right now. Give me 1 second.
Okay, now just also understand that while I may not live under that ethic, if you call it, because I don't appeal to policy and code for where I get my morals and ethics, so I'm not going to appeal to that for where others should get their ethics. He's not necessarily going to be condemned by me for having his Muslim beliefs, whether I agree with them or not, whether I practice them or not, whether I want them practiced in my community or not. I'm not here to condemn other folks who have a thousands of year history of what they believe to be their ethic, whether I believe it to be functional, dysfunctional, or anything else. He's not going to be excommunicated from speaking here on Facts of the Matter because he believes that, as you say, or as he says, a 12-year-old should be dated by however old of a man and impregnated. I mean, again, while I don't agree with this and I don't practice it, it's also been practiced from the beginning of time by people in those regions. So you're going to have to go to war with them over that.
Yesterday you said a 6-year-old could drive, so what else could they do?
Somalian. See, he's claiming I'm this Somalian, which is just a completely made-up lie. It's just to justify.
How would you know? How would you know the Somalian? How would you know it's a Somalian?
The fact that you're not a man.
How would you know it's a Somalian?
That's what it's all about. Because
so, Jeremy, how do we know you're a man? I don't think you're female.
Isn't that what he is?
How do you know? How do you know it's a Somalian? Gutter Shit Media. I said a Muslim before. I never said Somalian.
That's what he says he is, isn't it? Isn't that what he says?
How would you know that? How would you know that?
Because I've watched his channel, and he does live streams.
So we've walked back from we're not Gutter Shit Media to we've admitted we're Gutter Shit Media now. So we're one step closer.
So you said Gutter Shit Media or GSM?
That's a good point.
The account originally was named Gutter Shit Media.
From the indictment.
I'm going to walk it all the way back to expose who you are, but the account originally said Gutter Shit Media, and later was changed to GSM.
Who am I? Why don't you do this? Because you're bearing false witness right now. Who am I? And let this
How did you know that guy was Somalian though? That's a channel that gets like one live viewer.
We're not going to do this either. We're not going to do this either, right? I'm remaining neutral.
Because basically,
1 second, sir. 1 second.
Stream about him.
1 second. We're not going to do this either because I'm not supporting or condemning. I'm taking a neutral position and I'm observing the facts of the matter and the historicity and the difference between ethics of different people on different lands. right? So we're not going to do the thing either where I'm supporting that, because I said I don't live that. I don't support that. I don't think it's necessarily the most beneficial or productive way to go about life. But I also have to concede that from the beginning of time, there has been certain understanding about taking women pretty much as young as possible, who are not being coerced or duressed, right? And then you can argue that with these people. They have a reason why they're doing what they're doing. Then you can just argue you don't live that way, you think it's wrong, and you think something should be done to them. Again, I don't live that way, and I don't support it, but I'm not going to necessarily condemn something off of an objective characterization Drew made that this guy's Barack Hussein and he's taking 12-year-olds and breaking their hymens. I mean, we're doing.
Why is it not bad when a Muslim does it, but when it's Podesta, then it's bad?
Again, you're talking about a culture where everybody is living communally. And at a certain point in time and age, I'm not arguing for this. I'm telling you what my perception is and what their reasoning is. I don't tell you that I believe it's necessarily completely sound. But at a certain point, a woman goes through puberty and she becomes a sexual being, just like every other being in this reality. And the presumption is that the younger the woman is, as long as she's not coerced and duressed, the more she's going to come under that man and follow his leadership. Now, of course, that idea, which may be supernaturally sound, can be corrupted by predatory beings because, a woman tends to take to an older man for certain reasons. If that man is not honorable and accountable, he's going to abuse and misuse that woman for his own worldly ways and pleasures, right? So again, I'm not doing objective ageism. I'm just talking about what is in common sense and common practice. If you come to my door and you're 40 years old, if you come to my door and you're 40 years old, like Illumitami, and you want to date, my 12-year-old, it's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to say again what I'll never do, but I will say that I can't conceive a reality where that has to be necessary. With that said, we also know that you can't necessarily always control your children. So you may find yourself in a situation where you have, I don't know, about 12. It's rather young, but I'm sure stranger things have happened. You might find yourself in a situation where you have a young daughter, and at a certain point, maybe 14, 15, 16, this is well known in certain areas. This used to be made movies about. You'd have 14, 15, 16-year-old women riding around with 25, 30-year-old men after middle school and in high school. So listen, we can address the historicity, the common practice, the compulsions and impulses and biology of males and females. We can go through all that. But again, then if you're going to make objective determinations based on dogma and religion, you have to understand there's a whole bunch of people across this world who don't live like you and will not conform and comport themselves to what you believe life is and how it works.
And anyways, I think everything he just went off about there with that whole accusation that I'm that Middle Eastern guy or Somalian or whatever is just to deflect and derail from the conversation that, I basically just asked him a simple question. What makes you more of a man than O'Shea? And you see how he manipulated the conversation away from that, to straw man it away from that, and to do all these mental gymnastics to get it to this conversation of, Middle Eastern, blah, blah, blah. You're this Arab guy, blah, blah, blah. That's what it basically was. I mean,
You're Barack Hussein.
Yeah, he can't answer just a simple question. What makes you more of a man than O'Shea? And I could give you the short run through. He's basically going to say it's because I make 63 or 65 or whatever $1,000 a year as a Costco supervisor, and I, pay the bills, and I'm basically a beta bitch for my wife. I'm the beta bucks, and that's basically what his answer is going to be. But instead of answering that himself, he has to create this whole, baseless conspiracy theory that people are other people that they're not. And then he's going to, create this whole new slander.
Yeah, but you did get tripped up there in a sense. You were very credible in your assessments. Where you lost credibility with me and probably the audience is when I had to get you to admit indirectly that you're this GSM person. If you are who you are and you go around with this avatar, you're going to be caught up at some point. You should know that. So if you're not doing nothing wrong, then you ain't caught up. right? So it now leads me to believe you do have something to hide because you didn't want to come clean, not only with the voice changer, but with your avatar and who you are and what you're doing other places. I'm sure you can understand
perhaps
that.
some people simply don't want to be doxxed.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. A lot of these folks on here like to make it their life mission to say other people are stalking them while they stalk them and try to have them maligned, mischaracterized, or have some kind of loss or harm come to them. So I don't deny that's a possibility of why you wouldn't want to do that. But then I guess you better get better at running around on these streets, as Aluma Tranny says, because if you go around with anomalous avatars, folks are going to have the fucking, proof that you are this person. And then if they know who you are then it's all going to come back, right? Chain of title.
Yeah. But if you don't want to be doxxed, I would argue that you're less of a man. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you might have to concede that in this world, you got to go on the record with the world. I'm doing that every time I do a broadcast, and I'm taking a risk. I'm gambling that, hey, people know who and what I am and maybe where I am. And if they want to come do something to me, I really can't stop that. Ultimately, I can respond to it and account for it, but I can't really stop that. So I'm not going to try. It's a fruitless endeavor anyway. If people really want to find out who and what you are and get to you, there's ways. There's always a way.
Yeah. But let's see if they put in the effort to do so.
Now, I'm not going to go out of my way and put all my shit online. Yeah, I'm not running and hiding either, right? I'm crazy. I'm not stupid.
Exactly. So
But you can just see from Drew's actions alone that it is basically, he is admitting the fact that he is a cyber stalker, and he's screenshotting and doing this and that and collecting everybody's open information and then trying to create a case against them. So it would be justified why some people in certain situations wouldn't want to just give out every single detail.
Potentially.
So-called cyber stalkers like, EBT, Drew.
I accept that because they've done the same behavior with me. They just don't realize I'm impervious to it. I started this broadcast knowing what I was walking into, a den of hyenas as a lion.
Yeah.
So I know.
In my mind, I just equate them to the equivalent of a USSR, Soviet-style citizen snitch that would try to smear anybody's reputation, ruin their life through words or butthurt online, and then hand that over to the state or the authorities, within the corporate and government sectors, and then just, basically like create this whole, it goes back to the
slow
idea
state,
of,
a Fed state, right? Like Fed state, and like the rest of them, they like to try to get people indicted online by getting you out of character or mischaracterizing.
Yeah, that's what Officer Snaps and the Keystone Cop crew does to me. But instead, offer to just come to me with your grievances. We can deliberate it. We can get it hashed out, and we can be done with it. But he's just refusing. He just wants to make a case in light of fire because he can't find one.
Now, let's be clear, man. Like all throughout history, regardless of the fact that there's been at least this dualistic dynamic, there is some level of conscience and soul, I believe, in these people. I've seen it and felt it from guys like EBT. He respects me predominantly. He said nothing but good things about me in most venues. And then there's times where we regress and we become fallen, right? In our state of consciousness and apprehension. So I forgive them because I believe they know not what they do completely. Like their scripture says, if they knew better, they do better. Because they don't, or because they're unable to rise to the occasion, they're forced to hate what it is that they love or respect or admire or know that they need. So I really can't fault them for that. It really is a conviction and indictment of them. It really means nothing to me.
Right. They just show they're mind controlled every time.
That's all it is. I don't believe they really hate me. I believe they love me and respect me, and they admire some of the things I do. They've told me that at times, directly or indirectly. They've shown that in different ways. Whether you perceive that or not, I believe that. So, I don't believe this is all one thing or the other. I think that this is a struggle on a path of tests and challenges to becoming a higher self, more complete, right? And if not, well, then you'll live in a fallen state with a fallen conceptualization of what this world is, who and what you are, and what your role is here. It's really all I see it as. It's just an inherent hierarchical power value dynamic. There is no real good and evil to this. There's choices that lead to outcomes that look certain ways and feel certain ways, and really are, you could argue, objectively not beneficial for self or anyone else. Timmy, trans Jew, anything?
Well, I'll just say I had an experience before where just on the topic of I was just going through the situation in my in my head and my notes here to plan the old driving without the nonsense. And at first I'm going, oh shit, I do have too many things going on to miss if I'm in jail. And then the other part of me went, wait a second. Nah, you're looking at it wrong, because there's a whole bunch of real shit on my calendar that has to get done. So if I am unlawfully confined, somebody's got to pay, because somebody would be breaking a bunch of contracts if I'm not where I have to be. So this is very interesting. I'm like, oh, my notice to them would be very interesting.
Now, what's the presumption there? Because you're on it. I've spoke on this before. The presumption then is, if you don't pay your debt to this force and to this what's true and what's right idea, this conscience to self, if you don't pay your debt to self, you're putting that debt off on your women and children, the same ones you're afraid to go to jail for to try to keep safe. Is that not the case?
Yeah, you're paying, like, I have to pay first or pay homage or however you want to look at that in order to
That's
get
equity.
paid back.
If you want equity, you got to first come with it. If you're an inequitous person, you're putting your debt to society and God onto your women and children. You're not a man for failing to go to jail, standing on that to try to keep them safe.
And I'm not attempting, like, the next thing I'm going to say, O'Shea, I'm not like using you to cause you, like, to tell you, like, say you're a piece of shit. But I'm saying, like if I'm going to make a claim that I'm unlawfully confined, and then I'm going to put a dollar per minute, like, I can very easily make the record to show all of the contracts that I am now forced to be in breach of because of my absence.
No, fuck that, because that leaves him out if he doesn't have that. You got to go bigger with this. A man's time, energy, attention is invaluable because it's the only thing he can't get back. So let's start at where we're going to put a dollar amount on something that's invaluable. What do you think? $1 billion fucking dollars? How about that?
No, that's fine. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, and it's both and. It's both and.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, bro, they already have prerequisites on the record. The last guy who they locked up down in Florida unlawfully and kept him, it was $60,000 per minute, whatever it was. So you do the math.
But that's legal stuff, though, right? Like, then we're getting.
I'm telling you precedent in their world, and then I'm telling you
I
my
know.
world. My world is the real world. In the real world, your time, energy, attention is invaluable. It's the only thing you can't get back. So you better start real high when we're talking worldly numbers. I'm never going to get that time, energy, attention back, and that's okay. I did this willfully. The problem is now you got to pay. So how do you pay for something in the world that's invaluable in the other world?
But then all it comes down to is that jury of 12. If I have to be able to convince them that my time actually is worth that, right? That's what I
just convinced you. Were you not convinced?
60,000 a minute.
Listen. I'm saying to you, I'm willing to ask and listen to what an administrator would put forth, and then scoff at it and make another response, or have them understand what I just put forth and then put forth that number accordingly. Because if I start off by saying what I just said, that a man's time, energy, attention, and his moral compass is invaluable, then we should be talking some really big numbers right off the bat. So you start, and we'll go from there. I want to know what you think a man's time, energy, attention is worth. Oh, honorable administrator. Go ahead and insult my intelligence and the intelligence of this life force.
But first of all, I mean, I think we're starting on an incorrect foundation. Like, I think the foundation that you're saying is in their venue, like in the complaint, because all those big numbers are always like the backlash or like after a bunch of arguing and months and years of bullshit, right? But that is in their world, right? On paper, right? Like, cause like I'm not disparaging you, Mitch, but like, I don't even know about the situation, but right. But like how, like if he did what a man, like if he was going to go the man route and go, no, I'm not going to participate in this, in this legal venue. I'm simply standing here as a man. And this is what my time was worth, and I can prove it. Like, it's very hard to go from like what it was actually, like, what was he actually doing? Like, can he really prove that him sitting in the car watching YouTube, what was that worth the 70,000? Like, I guess in the
you don't get to determine that when you've already broke the law of this land in order to keep people safe. You don't get to make value judgments on somebody's time, energy, attention. I just told you it's invaluable for every being. We have no reason to believe that Mitch isn't going to be the next Paul Enslaved, and Paul Enslaved isn't going to be the next Elon Tard Musk, or whoever the fuck you think has the highest level of value in a commercial realm. When we crossed over from commercial activity into you breaking the law of the land, which is co-creational activity, my time, energy, attention is invaluable. Can't get it back.
Yeah.
Mitchell was already able to apparently come to a few $100,000 off suing the state of for what they do all day, every day. So we could start there and we can 10x that because you're doing it 10 to 100 to 1,000 times a day. There ain't enough money on this land to compensate for what the fuck you've all been doing. Let's be real about it.
So an infinite amount of money. Where we can get that from?
Yeah, it's called, here's where you go the next level. You go into these courts with these claims and say, I'm not here for your payoff. I'm not a cheap or an expensive hoe. We're going to own the place. That's where compensation's going to come from. Dummies. You're so selfish and worldly. You go in there and bring claims. You could wind up owning the whole thing indirectly by managing it, controlling it, and upkeeping it in trust. What do you think they're doing? You don't take a fucking buy off. That's for the low-level worldly slave who don't have enough. When you have enough, you go in there with 10 people, make the claim, and you tell them, we're changing the name to Paulie Enslaved Justice Center, and we're going to manage this place in trust by the laws of the land. Get out.
No, that's
and then you take back true power and control and value of the situation of by and for the people. You don't think that that's potentially possible? The banks do it every day. The courts do it every day. And you slaves somehow don't think that you have the same power, if not more, than your servants and service providers. That's where we got pimped.
I agree with you on the sense that, like, if I would bring other people into a picture and then do something, and it does make sense on like a local level, like in my town or something like that, that does make sense. I'm just, like, I guess I'm just going off of like, I don't want to participate in their system in order to, like, I don't think what you just said.
Timmy, it's real simple, dude. When you have, it's real simple, but it's real difficult because try to get 100 or 1,000 slaves to be able to be honorable, presentable, communicative, and know their own power, value, and worth. That's the hardest part. Forget the on paper shit. For them to really have the conviction of their own power, value, and worth in this endeavor, right? So it's real simple. You make the valid claim, you show their incompetence and intransigence and negligence and dereliction of duty and their wrongful behavior time and time again, and then you take adverse possession of the property and all things that extend off of it. You know what that looks like conceptually in a simulation? It looks like, oh, you guys got 100 new cruisers this month that are worth 100,000 each, Range Rovers, because you're balling out of control. We're going to put them up for auction. Forget about the funds that are going to come from compensation, because we're going to get that directly from the men and women who did that. You're going to have to put your houses up now to compensate these people. And also you're out of a job. And also we're selling off all the property of the state of, city of, because we have a right to govern ourselves. Remember? We don't need that much war weaponry and that many fucking cruisers to police a free populace. Put them up for auction. There's going to be tons of value to go around when people learn how to really serve and protect and stop doing fascism for their own individuated profit and motives.
Hank?
Yes, Professor. So your plan requires to have an army of slaves to actually implement. Is that correct?
I didn't tell you an army of anything. I told you using the proper process and procedure, claims and documentation with the record to aversely, is what they're going to call it, repossess what is already the people's. That courthouse says on the side of it, built and erected by and for the people, not persons and actors and corporate scum. So you have the chain of title, you have the right heir to possession, you just don't have the valid claims, and you're not willing to go in there and put it on file and hold them to task and make them understand if they don't do the will of God and the people, then their will not be done. They will be cast out. Just like the Dark Knight movie says. You think that I'm making something up here? They gave you the whole game. Bane was the necessary evil. He caught shit for being the necessary evil, for bringing the judgment and the justice to the persons and restoring the city back to the people and to the law of the land, not the fascist statute, policy, and code.
I understand the ownership. Who's allowed to operate it?
Again, who's already operating it? You guys act like government is some monolithic thing that comes through a membrane and is its own state of beingness. It's a state of consciousness, you could argue, but what's stopping good people from engaging in governance? Your founder said, if good people will not engage in governance voluntarily, then they will be governed by corrupt folks. That's what we have. If you will not take part in your government voluntarily, in some sense, you will be governed by the corrupt. Who do you think was already supposed to occupy the positions? Probably someone like me, Hank Creature. I know that's hard to believe because I smoke so much reefer and say motherfucker, but I'm a pretty good judge of character and I have a decent discernment and I'm faithful and honorable, I'd like to believe. Yeah. So while I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't take the position necessarily if it would lead to loss, injury, and harm and others, right? So this is why I'm also fit but not fit. Because I can't necessarily see of a world where I'm going to sit somewhere and tell someone they're going to go sit in jail for X amount of days or years because I deemed it to be so. I don't know. I'd have to be in that position, and I don't know if that's power that I would even want. I don't even know if that's a reality when we get back on the land and on the ground.
Yeah. So to answer your question, it is the voters getting in our way, but I would really like to have you as a dispute.
It really just comes down to conflict resolution and addressing grievances. Yeah. You know, if you haven't killed anybody, if you're not a repeat deviant who like is psychopathic and sociopathic, you just wake up every day wanting to cause loss, injury, and harm, you know, then it's pretty much just addressing grievances. Somebody's got a complaint and an issue in the community. How do we restore order and move on without bad faith? And what's the most honorable practice and course of action here? This shouldn't be that fucking difficult. We shouldn't even need courts to do this. It's just regular communing and conflict resolution. But again, because we can't achieve that in ourselves and on our own, we apparently need courts of law for other folks to rule on these grievances.
Yes, because many people don't want to be reasonable. They want to just get away with anything they can get away with. It's very annoying.
It seems a lot of people are not capable of reason and logic and morals and ethics beyond subjective morality, right? Like we were speaking of earlier. They can't come to a space in themselves where they can see in some lands that it's probably not the best course of action to take a 12-year-old as a wife. Like you shouldn't have to be told that. It should probably just be some level of common sense and ethic where you go, odds are there might be something more going on in this interaction than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, and even if we table objective morality, can we at least negotiate on? Can we at least have a discussion about it? So we can at least understand.
Again, that's kind of what separates on this land the idea of a legal minor versus an adult. It's not necessarily the age. The age was supposed to indicate an age of reason. So a being has to be at some point, and then you could argue, well, what age is that? We got folks in their 40s, 50s, 60s or on their deathbed who haven't reasoned yet. They haven't become age of reason yet. So is this an age as a barometer of intelligence and maturation? No. So we're really talking about age of reason. That's why when you bring in a claimant, you're supposed to establish what their level of reasonability is by asking certain level common sense questions. Hey, lady, you're 12 or you're 20. What would you say if I said XYZ? And then they give me like 10 answers that show that they're Stockholm syndromed out, they're traumatized, they're abused, they're not logical and reasonable. They're just pretty much broken. then I have to establish how predatory the motherfucker is on the other side who is taking advantage of this person's lack of ability to reason, right? So this is conditional. It's more of an art, and really than it is a science, I guess you could say. That's why they call it, I believe. What do they consider it? The liberal arts. I don't know what the classifications are. There's a bit of science to it, I guess you could argue, and a bit of an art, right? It's an art of living.
Yeah. So we may have to come for another metric. I don't know, but that's why we should have a discussion about it, so we can just at least understand where we're all coming from.
Right. This Judge Judy, I like to point to at times, while I believe she was a cunt in many ways, she had a way with words and a way to pull out the truth and the facts of the matter, regardless of what the legal code was. She would just mainly use common sense. And she'd look at the person like I do and go, tell me about you. What are you up to? We go 20 minutes in. Okay, let's go over here. Tell me about you. What are you up to? Okay, what happened on the day? And then once we get both sides, we can determine pretty much what went on and who's doing what, when, why, and how, right? It's a fair probability, right? And then once you get them caught up in their own words, they're lying. Now they're in dishonor. So forget about it, right? We're going to reward the defendant, XYZ, because it's obvious here. You just tripped over your words and lied, and you just lacked in credibility, right? So a man doesn't lie unless he's afraid of finding out the truth and the outcome. So once you ascertain someone's telling the whole truth and someone else is lying, they're pretty much going to award the person who's honorable. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a truth hidden in plain sight, that Judge Judy stuff. That's like almost the highest level court there actually is. People think the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. I don't believe so. It's the man to man court. Now there's a judge that should be a magistrate, or with a jury of 12. That is actually the highest court in the land, in my opinion.
Yeah, the magistrate and arbitrator. So yes.
Yeah.
Right. But again, this goes back to this philosophy of those that can't do teach. So the reason why the most local is the most empowering is because oftentimes charity starts within the home. If you can't administrate yourself, your home, your own affairs, and everything that extends off you, you have no business in a position of arbitration. This is the false entitlement, false empowerment system we've erected with corporatism. Oh, you got the degrees. Oh, you got the corporate appeal. Well, you're fit for the job. No, these are motherfuckers who are drug addicts, alcoholics, domestic abusers, deviants, deviating from common law and common practice throughout the ages. So what makes them fit to be arbitrators? It's laughable. Only in an institutionalized world could the inmates be running the asylum.
And let's be honest, they don't really want people who are capable. They want people that are easy to control.
Of course, they want people who are going to toe a narrative and a line that's going to be able for them to do quick, easy, fast business and be effective and productive with the bottom line. It's not about the ethic. It's not about the logic or the morals chiefly, but it still exists, right? The real world and the common law and common practice and ethic still exists in these people, and they know it. It's there. They can't escape it. It's just, more and more as time goes on, chiefly the priority is revenue, right? Worldly power, status, and revenue. And again, that's just the subject of being part of a dark age or light age, where morals, ethics, and logic takes the precedent, is the predominant force. That's the chief priority. And then you have a dark age where money and power is the predominant, prevalent force or ethic. So this is just a wheel within a wheel from the beginning of time. We vacillate from one side to the other, it seems, because we got both in us, right? As within, so without, as above, so below. If heaven and hell are above us and below us, then it's also within us.
Yeah.
So we're manifesting that. We're creating that. Why and how that happens on a wheel within a wheel basis is, I guess, up for contemplation or wonder, right?
Yeah. And let's be clear. Money is fictional. It's just a token. It doesn't really matter except for what other people give me for. It's garbage. It's a fiction.
Yeah, I got a funny observation. I got to see somebody I know was getting a legal divorce on this land that I'm on right now, and I went to observe the court hearing because I wanted to see how they do it, and it's really funny. And I'm saying this, Hank, because you just said when people can't cover themselves. And this is the thing. the two beings could not reconcile their differences just with each other, and so they had to go and beg Daddy State to adjudicate their affairs. Right? It's very, very simple example, right? And the really funny thing that I saw was there's a big complex in this area for where the courthouse actually is, and all the buildings are kind of just normal style buildings, but the actual courthouse for them, wouldn't you know it, the columns built on the courthouse was Roman architecture. You make of that what you will. What is that doing over here?
Oh yeah, I mean they're always throwing it in your face. This is again from the beginning of time. That's why they go. The legal people go, Paulie, you can't use Roman etymology here. I go, no, but you can use Roman fascist symbols on your edifice. Give me a break. You guys are gonna pimp on me. I go, you showed me a fasci coming into this motherfucker. I shouldn't even be here. I'm here on special presentment to get you right, you know, or for you to cut me loose. Right. And 3/4 of the time at this point, I don't even show up. I'm not there to do their work for them. If I am, you got to pay me, motherfucker, just like you're getting paid. I'm going to get you right and get paid. Why should you get paid to do wrong when I could get you right in here and get paid? If not, I got no business here. You're just doing busyness.
Yeah, do your own homework or pay us. I'm with you.
Yeah, again, they want to say that I have main character syndrome. I thought that that's what we're supposed to do. Is see ourselves as like made in the image of the Most High, and then compel people to serve in truth and what's right, not from an ego perspective, from a sense of what the dynamic was built to be, right? So if you're not fit for that position, well, then you got to get gone. It's got nothing to do with me. You don't know what it's like to serve. I wake up every day serving for free. You guys are in a position of service. You're getting paid hundreds of thousands just to fuck everyone and fuck yourselves. Doesn't make any sense. Because they have an infidel heart. They have no idea what it's like to wake up thousands of days straight with a servant's heart, just doing what's true and what's right and trying to bring some value to yourself and others.
Can we explore the concept that we were just discussing when you're saying like, yeah, the fucking the courthouse comes back to the people, like, because I think there's the reason why I'm like a bit hesitant about this kind of concept is because like I don't think spiritually I like should be taking on the lack of faith or confidence in from another man. Like I don't think I can go into. I don't feel that I should be able to go into any venue and then like list out a bunch of things that didn't happen to me, and then like itemize and say, well, this is $50 million. Like even if it is, like let's forget the like subjective
Timmy, again, it's not about that, bro. Typically from the beginning of time on the land, folks are chosen as leaders of the community because they have wisdom and discernment and peace and patience and a whole bunch of other qualities, and they're faithful and forgiving. So if you're in a court venue and I get what you're saying because I just spoke on it, but if what is what is, and that's what the community calls forth as a necessity, well then you lead them back to themselves. You tell them, listen, like I do here every day, I'm tired of having to play your daddy here at the courthouse every day. So how about this, Mr. and Mrs. Smith? You go home and you have some real, honest, authentic conversations about who and what you are, what the fuck you're doing here. And we're going to report back here like once a week if you guys need. And we're going to do a little bit of therapeutic conversation on how you can reconcile and create resolution in yourselves and in your life. So you don't need Daddy Paulie, the judge, to do it for you. Yeah. Right. So again, if you're put in a position of leadership, then you use that properly to lead people back to themselves and what's true and what's right, if possible. Right. Barring some extreme situation where you got some guy killing half the fucking town.
Right.
Few and far between. Most of this shit is domestic squabbles over a couple bucks or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah. And it's just a failure to be reasonable and sensible on both sides or just adhere to the facts and cause and effect. So once you determine that, you go, hey, let's be real here. Before we have to start throwing the little broken children in jail so they can sit with themselves for a couple days, what do you think's probably the right thing to do here today? And usually at some point you can compel someone of some good sense and nature and reason to just say, you know what, let's just do this, this, and this. And then the other side goes, okay, I can cop to that. And we just achieve reconciliation and resolution, right? So you shouldn't have to be compelled to that, but I guess oftentimes we need to be. So if anything, you use that power limited to compel people to do what they already know is true and what's right. and create reconciliation and resolution.
Yeah, I'm just like, because if you play the simulation already out, like all the way out, like one could say that I'm doing what's his name? Some folks may say that like the county, the courthouse, like all this shit on some level, like really is like, it really is like a private thing that they write on a paper, that they write on a Monopoly piece. My
Come
name
on,
and
Timmy, you know this would be fun. I mean, I'm already imagining it. Imagine a couple
Right.
comes before you, they're arguing on both sides, they're lying, they're being dishonorable. You know they both are. And rather than simp or trick or play favorites, you put them both in a cell for 24 hours. You give them a little bit of marriage therapy, right? Hey, I know you guys thought you were going to come here and try to like extract value from each other through a false system and try to use me as a pawn in the game. No, I'm going to now sentence you both to like the next 48 hours handcuffed together in a cell, and you're going to learn how to communicate one way or the other. And if you want, I'll sleep on the cell across the way from you to give you some pointers. You know?
Yes, I'm in favor of that resolution strategy. But yeah, so pretty much
Right, like what will they do if that time ever came with the judge who has no need for any grandiosity beyond what's already ridiculously necessary in this realm to compel people to do what's true and what's right, who would offer to sleep in the cell across from them just so they didn't feel unsafe, right? Just so they didn't think that there was any like misalignment in power and values. Like, I'll go sit across from you, we'll do 48 hours, and I'll have a good entertainment time. Someone else can take over the bench. And they'll say, well, Judge Paulie's like doing a little bit of therapy with the community. He's locked up in the back with a couple, right? They're locked in the same cell, handcuffed together, and he's across the way on a cot, giving them some pointers or just observing and entertaining himself, right? I'd be the best judge ever for me. I don't know if everyone else would be into that, but like, we'll get to the bottom of it, what we're all doing here and how we can communicate or commune or, whatever else these words seem to mean.
Yeah. So Timmy, I actually try to talk to all kinds of people on the Panaverse so I can have as much practice as possible so I can get ready for going to the courthouse on my pressure issues. Because I have my own set of pressure issues I want to address. So I try to get...
We all see your optics, Hank, you gay witch. Why didn't you throw black in there? He always throws black in. You black gay witch. Like, black is a pejorative term. Like,
yeah, I got one.
Gay witch, not enough. Yeah, he wants to so badly call you the N-word. You N-word gay witch.
It's okay to say Negro, as far as I know.
You gay Negro witch. It's okay to say anything. I've used the N-word as I actually like saying the N-word now because it's like it pads my liability for people to strike me and also points out how ridiculous this time and place is, where certain words can't be used while we're all being treated like niggers. Excuse me.
Yeah, niggers.
Excuse me. Yeah, we're all being treated like slaves and being shot. Yeah, see, he woed me. That's why. See, I get the woe. So we're all being treated like slaves and genocided, but yet if you use certain words, all of a sudden it's like politically unpopular. How fascinating.
Yeah, really.
Tell me more about the levels of dysfunction and hypocrisy.
Yeah. So I'll tell you more. I've been asking Officer Snaps and now Illuma Jeremy to give me a list of the and they haven't. You can't do it. The so-called real men can't even write a freaking list and send me an email. Ridiculous.
I like that one. Paul Unslaved made Snafu look useful. I try to show, unlike Jack Talcott, who says he does this, I try to get the best out of everyone or try to see the best and show the light and the purpose in everyone, if possible, if they have a role and a function. And I try to hold them to that, and direct them as a wise man would. So yes, I did in fact show the usefulness of Snafu Snaps, who everyone else has cast out and thought was completely uncredible and irredeemable. No, he's a little warthog creature. He sniffs around, he roots things up, and then you have to view what he roots up and try to find the gold within the lead. That's on you.
Yeah, I think he's redeemable, of course. I say...
Yeah, I have places for all my creatures. I let him loose. He scours the landscape. He roots everything up. And then I have to view what he roots up and find the gold within the dirt. And he's got a powerful sense of smell when it comes to pedo pogos.
He smells them everywhere, which makes me wonder.
He does. A couple times he thought Pito Pogo. I'm like, no, that's a mushroom. All right, let's move on. He finds truffle in the rough. That's the thing about leadership. Folks think they understand leadership and power, but really it comes down to responsibility and accountability. You more have to know how to use people, places, and things for everyone's benefit than to try to demonize or delineate or cast out, right? It's like everyone has a place, a purpose, and a function. Even evil does, you could argue, in the world. So it's like, if you can find a place, a form, or a function to use that for everybody's outcome beneficially, arguably, then I think you're onto something there.
Yeah. For example, evil's pretty good at breaking people out of their loops, which is why.
Hey, why is Wizard? Oh man, Wizard showing himself again. He only came back to grift off this audience and try to get more viewers for his live. Wow, how honorable and redeemable. Great stuff, Wizard. Because you don't have enough of your own audience and viewership, right? While I sit here day after day, 500 days straight, cultivating an audience, earning my listener, right? Just over time, a lot of them fall away. A lot of them stay. He's just going to come in and out like the rest of them, just yell shit out, grift, try to get people over there because he's not interested in doing the hard work, the arduous long-term game work in any venue. So thank you, Wizard, for showing yourself again. You don't want to earn your listener. You'd rather just like Pathetic Warrior and the rest come into a venue, scream out, and then try to get everyone over there and grift off of them. Great job. Testament to your lack of ethic and hard work and long game presentment. You're so impulsive and compulsive. You just get these great feelings and ideas in the moment, rush in to implement it, and then undo yourself. Exactly the opposite of a war master, exactly the opposite of a strategist, exactly the opposite of someone who's conscious and aware, ethical and honorable.
Wait, so you're saying in a healthy community, a healthy organization, a healthy business, that whenever you have an issue, you can just go and hide in your tent and not do your duties? I'm not going to chop trees today. I'm not going to do the farming today because I got to see other people that are saying.
All right, well, Penile Power is now disconnected. I believe I'm going to have to disconnect him. We're winding down anyway because Wizard, the cretin, the embarrassing cretin, wants to use Sean like he used me. Today he's using Sean's channel to get to me and my audience, try to promote his crap. So go rant about US code while that woman just, walks past you in the back, with buckets of laundry. Or are we going to do the like visual graphics today where you cover up your life and your background in order to talk US code again, while you don't apply it completely and don't have resolution and remedy and have to come to this place in order to be funded every so often?
Why can't he just come up? He was invited to come up on panel. Why couldn't he just come the hell up?
Well, because he's a coward and a bitch, and he's just here to grift, and he just threw all his accountability and credibility and respect that he had away for a year and a half that he, I guess, cultivated. He was willing to do that. No, Trucker Dan, you're not coming up. Nice job. Movie Caden. No, you're not coming up because I know what you're going to do. Okay, he ran from the back. Great job. You're not going to porn bomb me here today. Great try, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, send us an email.
The demons are out. They want you to go watch Wizard. Notice, soon as Wizard started promoting, the porn bombers came in the back. Mm-hmm. Oh, what a coincidence. The demons are out to play.
Oh, okay.
How pathetic. Don't worry, Wizard. I'm ending soon at the 3-hour mark. You and Jack and Pathetic Warrior all know that. You structure your whole life and broadcast around that. We know that. So you just a little while longer. Maybe. Or I might keep streaming, and then you'll sit over there and watch me on a second screen doing your own broadcast, wondering when I'll stop so you can grift off another 30, 40, 50 people. You're really that just fucking low-level, powerless, pathetic, insecure, and dissolute. Dissolute. I threw a salute into the dissolute.
Yeah.
Never seen that one before. Dissolute.
I'm a sound salute. I'm a Saddle Masochist, so I may pop over there just to get yelled at for being over here. That'd be just hilarious.
All right.
I think it's funny.
You know what? Fuck it. We're at the third hour anyway. I didn't promise breaking news or anything else, so I'll hold off on that. And I'll just redivert the attention to monitoring. Do another 3 hours. You'll get little to no viewers you can grift off of. And if these pathetic people want to sit on here and watch Jack Talcott waste away, I'm not going to stop them. I'm just going to go eat. I'll monitor and walk back and forth, and I'll throw commentary here and there. And at some point, I might just go take a ride and get out my night. Oh, man, Jack Talcott's not on? Fuck, he's another one who checked out. Okay, so Pathetic Warrior and Jack Talcott both checked out on the same day.
Oh,
Yeah, broadcast.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. There's that. I mean, it's not like we felt they were dedicated anyway. It's not like we thought they were responsible or accountable anyway. It's not like we thought they really cared about this audience or felt any obligation to bring truth or value to them. No. Once they couldn't get whatever the fuck they were in it for, as if we can't guess, they're just out the door. And you don't know where they are, what they're doing, and who gives a fuck, right? Yeah. And you know where they probably are right now? Watching and listening to me. Right. The same place that we found them. All things go back to source.
Hey, that's what I'm doing.
Right. All right, Hank. Well, I think I'll just call it there. We're right at the 3 hour mark. Everyone else has stopped broadcasting. They can't take the heat, so they left the kitchen, which is odd because you would think a bitch's place is in the kitchen, but this kitchen's a bit too hot for them. So not only this panel, but this metaverse, right? It's gotten a bit too hot for their little buns, and they've had to take it on down the line. So again, more evidence of who and what we are and what we do here versus what they are, what they're not, and what they stand for / don't, and all the rest of it, right? Just another conviction and indictment and replication and emulation of a corruption of the original. So I'll take my bow and I'll move out my day.
Oh, okay.
I love you, brother. I don't know why any of that just happened.
The kitchen's just hot. Only chefs can hang out here. So
Jack's busy. Yeah, well, Z and Jack are busy packing.
Of course.
Yeah, because, you know, the time's running out. In many ways, time's running out. Any clocks, and on every one of them, time's running out.
Maybe Z's in Jack's basement.
Right. Maybe Jack's in Z's basement.
Or maybe they're both in the warehouse. Who knows? They look giant faces anyways.
Coming at you from the warehouse. Coming at you from the storage unit. Much love from the storage unit.
All right, everyone. It is the Z time now since they couldn't show up. Much love, much love. Paul Unslaved is making the frogs gay. Much love. Much love.
Thank you, Timmy.
Much
and
love,
for your closing ceremonies, we have Hank Frank, and he's going to do his version of Nancy Sinatra. These boots are made for walking. Go ahead, Hank. Take it away. You got the audio component there?
Walking everywhere.
Yeah.
I freaking forgot the word.
Coming at you.
I don't remember the word.
1-877-223. The hotlines are open. Unslavious Industries going strong while the rest of the beta males are checked out, not only of their own life, but the metaverse. Could have seen that coming. Boots are made for walking, man.
All right, bye.
Do we have an audio component there, Hank? Can you hear the audio component?
I don't remember the words. I didn't print for this.
Right, but you got the music there. You got the background?
I got boots.
No, I'm asking, can you hear the background music that I have going right now?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Why is it so hard? Okay. Trans you got anything? Because we're going to wrap up. You're going to have to walk it off, man.
I'll sing a song.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you need a background vocal? What can I bring up for you?
Yeah, you
what kind of
in there.
What do you want? You want the Gambler? Kenny Rogers? You want some walking boots? What do you want?
Shoot. Got the lyrics?
JG, that's it. What do you want, man? You got to give me which background you want. You got to pick your background instrumental. You want some Gambler, Kenny Rogers? You want some Boots or Walking?
I got to see the words, man. I'll sing with the words.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you. You remind me a little bit of Nancy Sinatra in your own way, so I'll give you some boots or walking. I think that's applicable to the
I
situation.
gotta see the lyrics, man. I gotta see the caption. I don't know the fucking lyrics.
All right, I'll give you everything you need. JG's a player, man. That's why I respect him. He's willing to put on when necessary. He's got moxie.
You keep saying you got something for me. Something you call love. Something that
You've been missing with them pedo pogos. Someone's getting all of your best. Slaves made for walking. That's just what they'll do. One of these days, these slaves are gonna walk right out on you. Oh yeah. It's a walking, boys. Yeah. Coming at ya. Oh man, you keep lying when you ought to be truthing. You keep losing when you ought to not that. Man, this song is actually, when you look at the lyrics, very appropriate. Come on, JD. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah, coming at you from the basement, from the storage unit. Keep playing where they shouldn't be playing, JG. Terrible, but the words are adequate for the occasion. You keep lying when you should be truthing. Are you truthers?
Old music is very, intelligent.
Yeah, they keep saying when they should be changing. Up with that.
Now we got Jack Harlow nowadays. I'm vanilla, baby. People want to hear the nonsense. They want the good shit. They don't want substance. They want.
Yeah, Jack Harlow can't figure out that he. Come on, man, get closer to the Starbucks, trans Jew. I want to hear you.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, like women only want you to choke them, like that song. He thinks he's like revealing something. He's cute and clever. Women only want you to choke them when you're a beta male. They're like, come on, do something manly, choke me. Right? Women don't want an alpha male to choke them. That's a fucking domestic violence claim.
I had a girl try to suffocate me with her legs, and she's really trying to knock me out with her legs. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? She's like, get out of my house. True story.
Oh, I got to bring up my Vanna White. What's up with Sexy Lexi?
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
That's what they call you, Sexy Lexi? Who calls you that exactly? Is that your prison name or what?
No, only Lindsay. Lindsay
Street
Smith
prison
calls me
name?
that. What? Lindsay Smith
Okay.
calls me that.
All right. I don't know what that means.
Lex Anamata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you got for me, man? I know you've been down there. This is the Lex Animata guy. Animata,
Yeah, not too
whatever.
much. Just out for a spring jaunt
All right.
on the river. Yeah. Just checking you out. Yeah, what's going
All right,
on?
So what's the report? What's your report? What's your conclusion?
42 degrees. Hey, what's up, Trans Jew? JG. Good to see you.
Are you in fact a Lindsay simp? Is that true?
No, I just I like to aggravate Tarek a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually my first time on cam.
So this is your way of getting Tarek caught up with his own weakness of constantly emotionally investing to shit online that doesn't really concern him.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I could see that. What do you
Anyways.
think of this Man Boob song about Tarek? Yeah, Unslaved Industries, 1-877-223. Man Boobs by Randy Reeves.
Yeah, this dude's like a very nice Glenn Richard Simmons. Who the fuck wears that? He's wearing Richard Simmons' clothes.
JG, please.
Bless my soul, I'm so thankful I'm not him. With those man boobs are blown up like a inner tube. Man boobs, bouncing like a kangaroo. Those man boobs, they're not something you get used to. I won't let man boobs get the best of me.
Your thoughts?
I love it. I love it. I didn't know Tarek could sing so good, man. That's great.
No, that's Randy Reeves, apparently.
Oh.
That's what they tell me.
Hmm.
Snafu Snaps, Preacher, do you have some X files that you want to reveal right now? Some Snaps
Yes, I
files,
was
rather?
scouring the webs and I left a backstage video. It seems that they are going through my music because I'm a supernatural G.
I got.
What's happening now, Snafu? Whoa, he just got doxxed. Snaps
Oh,
files
good.
2.0.
Hey, how's my audio out here? Is it clear or is it
Yeah, it's good.
decent? All right, well, I guess I don't really have too much to say today. I was just checking in. I'll be back up.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, man.
He's testing the waters, right? He's thinking about
testing-
making a move in the future, but he's got to test the environment first.
Testing the waters, walking along the margins here.
Right.
Yeah. All right, till next time.
All right, I'll see you later, Lex.
Salute, brother.
Salute. Jeremy, your final thoughts? Trans Jew?
Man, you thought I was boring, man. Jeez.
No, you're never boring. Dysfunctional and disturbed, yes, but never boring.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Love you, brother. I don't know why that happened. Go ahead, Jeremy.
It's good times. Enjoyed the content. Yep. Hopefully to do it again tomorrow.
All right.
Paul, you want to talk some shit here? All right, I got you. You're obese and you're a fucking narcissistic, crazy man. All right? What you got
That's great.
next?
None of that stops me from getting my dick sucked. So, long as you're either sucking my dick or living in that box on the street, I think that we're all good.
Well, we got Hank for the dick suck, so I mean, if you want your dick sucked, go to Hank.
Right. Well, that's who I meant. See, Snafu doesn't know I'm a gay white witch. What do you think about that? You keep insulting Hank saying he's a gay black witch. Well, how do you know I'm not a gay white witch? Yeah. I'm coming out of my pogo shell now. Snafu's going to be all over me. Optics high.
I wonder if gay guys have dreams or if they're ever fuck girls. Like I had a dream last night and I'm banging chick. I wonder if gay dudes have dreams they're banging chicks and they wake up and they're like, fuck, god damn it. That shit again.
That's not gay, though. Like, if you dream about fucking women and you wake up with a man, that just means you got no options. You're really not gay.
No, what I'm saying is like, say,
Daddy, you're gay and you're white.
Hank was, or not,
Oh, man. I knew he was
Daddy's
going to be
gay
all
and
over
white
me.
now?
Oh, come
What
on.
the
Like, you didn't
fuck?
know I was a gay white witch all along? Cut it out.
You gay white daddy witch.
A gay witch. These fucking things he comes up with. He's a gay
Hey, did you see
black
what I
man.
did
X
when you
Jeff,
were backstage?
Gen X Jeff, right? He goes to sleep and he has a dream and he's banging a chick and he wakes up, you know?
Oh no, there's no way that guy dreams. It's like Technicolor versus black and white. There's no way that guy dreams in hetero. When that guy has a dream of having sex, it's with another man every time.
Hey, do you know, Jesse the Missing Link had a fucking man dude on his channel today.
Man dude. What does that mean, a man dude?
It was like a mixture of Bex and fucking EBT and fucking you and a couple others, but female version.
Yeah, I one time came on here and said that I was a trans queer activist, and I ran that for like 2 weeks to try to see what it would do with the algorithm. Tommy clipped it out and said I was being serious. He goes, "Look, I got your daddy saying he's actually transsexual." I go, Tom, Tom, I was yelling and screaming that the hate had to stop and that I'm a trans queer activist. And you ran with that and clipped it out and made it real? I go, but then you're going to say, when I say you're creepy, that I'm lying about you. Like, how fascinating.
Tom's saying I'm out here knife fighting people, where I had a guy try to pull a knife on me and I beat the shit out of him. But he's saying I'm out here stabbing people and knife fighting people.
Yeah, he just said you're out there beating up elderly people. He makes shit up and then says we're making shit up because we say you're creepy and methed out. That's actually who you are. That's you.
Hey, gay white daddy.
Yeah. It's white witch. Gay white witch daddy.
Blowing up. What? My music. Did you see what I left in your backstage? My
Oh, I
music's
told
blowing
you,
up.
I blow up everyone that comes here on some level. They get more views than I get, which just proves again I'm shadow banned. How do people who come here get more views than I get? By coming here?
Hey, check your backstage out.
I don't have to. I got this number on repeat.
Well, that's that one. I left the one in backstage. I'm a super G.
I hope you guys are all doing all right. Yeah.
Sat on the bench.
Come on, JD. With me.
Ask yourself, why am I here with Betamax? Oh, why? I'm just world play out. Klaus is doing all he can.
All you can.
Billy's keeping us safe on the bench with chemtrails on my head.
I am. Gotta do.
World plays on through. Watching it flow away. My mind is floating today. I'm sitting on the bench, looking at the world fly by, and the sky is so high as the clouds rise free and moving. The sun is shining on you. Just turn your life around and just depending on you.
Coffee house banger.
House banger. Imagine you go into Starbucks one day and Snap Who Snaps is playing over the fucking speakers in every location with sitting on a bench. I guess stranger things have happened.
Look at the backstage one I sent you though.
You sent me 3 things, bro. What do you repost? You repost the same thing 3 times. You're scrolling me in the back area.
People are making videos on me, promoting my music, thinking they're hating.
Is there no sound to this? You look real Pakistani on this one. You look like an owner of a smoke shop. What do you want? Some Swishers? All right, my friend, I give you a discount. Why is it so low on this short section? That was it? Man, I wanted more of that. I was bumping for a second. What? Ooh, yeah.
See, Brian O'Shea, how come your trolls ain't making your music videos? Step it up, O'Shea.
Yeah, so apparently DeCastro hit me up about a week ago, and I never got back to him. Apparently, he got locked up, sentenced to 180 days. Well, listen, bro, it's not like that can't happen to anybody, but you know what I'm going to say. These folks like to play with motions and legal policy. They like to get themselves deep in them people's games and cite code, and I don't do that. So I'm not saying that fate or worse can't happen to me. I'm humble enough and have enough humility to accept that. I don't have all the answers, but you know, that's why I just go my own way. And if it ends up, I get the blessings and grace and truth, then that's what it is. But I don't compromise that to cite their codes and act like I'm a constitutional law professor and refer to their standings and their precedent as the law, right? The law is written within us before it was written around us. So I just stick to that, and that seems to serve me well up to now. I don't play into their system more than necessary, and I definitely don't cite their statute policies and codes and rulings for where I get my understanding of law.
Well, I'm not trying to put a hex on you or like put bad juju on you, but realistically, your type of fucking work that you do, which is important, same with others, I'd put myself in another category. The optics are only going to ramp up more for censorship or persecution or fucking, as you said, being put in jail for beliefs and stands. 1 minute you could be a patriot or whatever it's called, so the next minute you could be labeled as terrorist, for what? So it's
you really want to kind of stay out of the courts, and then if they're going to drag you in, you really want them to be able to substantiate what you're doing there and why they think they can compel you to be there by force. But I really don't see the benefit in going in there regularly and arguing with them and getting uppity with them or being combative with them, even in speech. That's not a venue for me. I have no business at administrative corporate venue. I have no business responding to a request or a summoning of that person. Right? It's like, they're really, the more you address them and the more you interact with them, the more they start to suspect you're one of them. I don't recognize them, just like they don't recognize man in that venue. I got no reason to be there. So if I'm there, I'm under special presentment. And usually if I'm there, it's not under my own volition. Somebody came and got me, handcuffed me and brought me to that venue, in which case I'm forced to present, right? In which case it's not a voluntary endeavor. And if you don't have loss, injury, or harm, and I don't owe an actual debt, then we got nothing to talk about, right? So I keep it simple because most folks want to act like they're like the lawyers and them people. You don't have 20 years in this shit. So you better stop playing with their words and their Latin and their games, ens legis and I'm pro se and all the rest of this. You don't know Latin. Why are you talking their shit? Why can't you just keep it simple, stupid? Stop trying to impress everybody with how much you don't know, acting like them.
That's like Wizard, right? Like 100% what Wizard does.
Well, listen, this is what they don't understand. A motherfucker was safe from legal policy when he was born in the woods and didn't know nothing about it and didn't understand it. I don't know nothing about that. My daddy raised me to, do certain things and live a certain way, not to talk to strangers and not to sign any paperwork. So if you can't make a handshake and give me your word, then I ain't signing nothing. You can't get a motherfucker like that convicted. They already got their own conviction. They got it from their mommy and daddy and their mommy and daddy before them and all the way up the chain of title to God. You can't interfere with that. The more you keep acting like you know their system and how it works and speak their language, the more they presume you are in and of their system and you will be governed as such. Common law does not equate to common practice. The common practice is of slaves who act like they understand and know the institutionalized world, and they're just duped, right? Or they're being played. So the common law applies to people who are common men in the sense that they're simple men. They don't think too much for their own good. They don't feel too much for their own good. And they're not going to play into anybody else's narratives beyond a certain point. Because why would they? I don't understand any of this. I don't need to. You can't force me to. Here's what I do understand. I'm a man under God, and I have no obligation to deal with anybody, to talk to strangers, and to sign papers. Because like they used to say, a good man could go his whole life with just a handshake and his word and never have to sign a piece of paper. So either you're presuming I'm not a good man or you're definitely not a good man because you think that I need to sign papers and do contracts in order to have our word as our bond. That's not a common man. That's not common law. That's contractual venue. That's corporate venue. I got no business with that.
Well, I got to honestly say with well, it's usually every stream, you know, the authenticity that you bring to the stream by allowing the people to be the people and you handling it. You're not, like you said, you won't get any other certain places, especially if it's organized streams. But I do see people starting to.
Oh, you know how? Listen to this, Snafu. We were talking Carl Lentz earlier.
That was cool.
They were talking Carl Lentz earlier. You know how Carl Lentz claimed to get out of one of his situations with court? Is he just broke their code right open on the face of it. They said, you're charged with artificially heating a substance in order to create alcohol. So all he did was say, oh, I didn't use an artificial source. I used a natural source. So they can't convict him. It's that simple. Right? Like, you want to get into your codes? I destroy your code on the face of it by the way that it's written and how it's worded. It's all presumption, assumption. It's all future and past tense, and it can be easily undone on the face of it. Right? So if even if I use fire as a source to make alcohol, they're going to say it's an artificial source. No, fire is a natural element. There's earth, wind, fire, and air. Right? Or whatever the fucking elements chart shows. So did I use a natural source to heat the substance to create whatever, which is well within my right anyway? Or did I use a natural source? In which case, the code undoes itself. It's expressed, not implied.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then they'll try to say, you know what we meant. It doesn't work that way. The law is expressed, not implied. That's a maxim. And if my name is not expressed in that code or my family name, it doesn't even apply to me. Furthermore, the way the code is written makes it easily undone.
Well, let me ask you this. At what point is there...
Bro, do you realize all codes are written in future tense? All of your modern day state codes, even if you want to play in their world, bring up the code, magistrate. Okay, all persons shall. Number one, I'm not a person, but I'll play. Okay, let me put my mask on. That's what person means in Latin. All persons shall. Shall is a future tense. They literally wrote the code saying sometime in the future, you're all going to do what we say. But right now, we don't have to because it's advisory. Now, no one even realizes that one little piece could get you out of the majority of these claims because shall is a future tense word. It's not present tense. It doesn't apply to you in the here and now. It only applies if you believe it does. It's like saying one day in the future, Snafu Snaps shall co-create with me in a way that is not indicative of his dysfunction of the past. But in the present, we make a different determination. All the codes are written in future tense. And if you give them their way, that future tense is going to become real in the now, where it will say, at this time, all persons will do whatever we say. Right now, it's sometime in the future because they know New World Order is coming. They know the Dark Ages are coming. It's always on the fence. It's always in ebb and flow and in flux, essentially.
Right. And that's what I don't understand with some of these people like the Wizards or these other ones that like you said, they play with the system, knowing the system is going to win or has a better advantage versus standing up for kind of like you or Timmy said, independent or what, I just don't get it because like when Wizard does all this like system talk, you could do blah, 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 does he not understand the system is going to win? The system will have the advantage of you, no matter what you think you're trying to.
Again, you can compel the individuals in the system to abandon the system for reason, logic, and the spirit of the law. But if you're using code to do that, it's counterintuitive. The way you compel a man into his form of man and out of a corporate capacity is by being a man of common sense and being able to communicate. Common sense terms and understanding. It's philosophy. If I have to appeal to a code to get them out, go ahead.
I was just saying, it's kind of like your interactions that we've seen with you, with certain officers, you talk to them and then they kind of, break down. But like when you're using code, like some of these people like Wizard and stuff does, there is no getting these people to look at they're just, it's still in the same thing. So I would say like when you talk to the officer,
you can use the code to correlate. You say, hey, you want to be such a robot? You want to understand common sense? Let me correlate this common sense to what your code says and see if you can find the middle ground. But we don't necessarily presume to sit in the jurisdiction of or speak the language of agents and code and corporation. It doesn't make sense. If you're claiming to be an honorable man and presentable man, then you speak the language of a man. You don't speak the language of code and policy because you're just proving you're one of them. You're citing code for where you get your law and your understanding, which makes you one of them. Code followers.
Right. No, and you just nailed it. Because I noticed when you have interactions, or the ones that you've shown, you know how, and I've had my own, where the person that they
let's make this real simple. If I come kidnap you, right? We're simulation. I'm not saying I'm doing this to anybody. I'm part of an organization. We have our own code. If I kidnap you and I bring you out back and I got a gun to your head and I say, what do you got to say for yourself? And you start citing the code that I'm under, that my organization runs under, I'm going to presume you're one of us. And I'm going to take you the fuck out if I believe you didn't follow the code. Why would you do that? You tell them, I don't have any knowledge of any of this, fellas. I don't know what you guys are up to. I'm not an enemy of this situation. I'm a friend of the court. So can we establish the facts of the matter? You don't go to start citing that code of that world and them people in that world unless you want them to think you're part of what they're doing. And then you're going to be subject to the code once you cite it. And they're going to have their way with you.
I personally
This is common fucking sense. This is why criminal organizations are tasked, even consciously in their own codes and in their own mind and heart, not to harm civilians because they're not under the code. If you kidnap a civilian and go, we didn't know, we didn't do, this is not right. They're going to go, you got to let them go. But if you step before me and I take the mask off and you start spitting out the code that we're all under, I start thinking you're one of us and you knew better what to do and not to do under presumption. So you're violated and we're going to fucking rape you and kill you and all the rest of it. This is how any organization, honor or dishonor, however you want to classify it.
Play both sides of the code. Because I don't think that will last much longer. I think right now, yes, it's able to, but like kind of like because there is a side of the sides, like Hank, for instance, we name sides that play both sides of codes. If we're talking about codes in general, but there will be a wheat and tear event.
People hire lawyers, Snafu,
for every single person in their spiritual or physical realm.
Like
of life.
people who hire a lawyer, right, to speak for them. If I kidnap you and I'm part of the organization, and I pull you out of the trunk and I take the hood off. And then you say, no, hold on. Before I speak for myself, I'm going to call my cousin. And I call your cousin. And he comes over and he's one of us. And he knows the code and he's spitting out code. Well, then you're with them and you're part of it. And you should have known. See how it works in common sense? If you just play the role of civilian and you're not subject to that code because you don't live in that world and you don't understand it, they're probably going to give you mercy and grace. If you call your cousin who starts spitting out code or is one of us, we're going to treat you like one. If you start spitting out code and acting like one of us, we're going to treat you like one of us. This is very simple common sense logic that any tard can understand, but they don't think that court or anything else with humans works like that. It does on some level.
I guess, yeah, on some level, I guess, yeah, you would be right on that.
Well, your humans are humans first before they became actors and presenters and part of organizations. They're humans first, and humans all have the same behavior in common throughout the ages. So you have to establish yourself outside of their codes and society. If you won't, then you're subject to them because you must be one of us.
Well, I'm not going to lie. What you said yesterday when we were talking about vehicles and I talked about wagons, and then you brought up what if they had explosive in the back because they had to move mountains and work on the land, and it's like, man, they're taking everything away from people to be pioneers. We've given up all rights, including, building our own roads, highway structures, things like just like you said to that Russian lady, oh, so only your military can have the arms, but the citizens can't have the arms. It is truly incredible to see the people give away and give. They give to the tyranny, but they give away to themselves. It's unbelievable.
Right, then turn around and attack someone like me. So they double down on their dysfunction and deviance.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They're unnerved. They got the best of their mind. They're unnerved. They're falling apart.
All right, give me the final word, man. I want to get the hell out of here. We're 30 minutes over. I want to get on with my day. I'm spending too much time online and dealing with these cretins.
All right, final word. TML, enjoy your strike. Flow State and Cynthia, things on strike time. And all you pedo pogos, fuck off. On all you cupcakes, fuck off. The optics are high.
All right, well, there you have it. Snafu declaring war incessantly on channels who have declared war on the truth. Again, I'm not going to support that openly. I'm not going to condemn that openly. Ultimately, he's playing on the same playing field with the same rules all the rest of you are playing on and following in yourself and in your own life. So how is it unfair? It's not hypocritical. Right? You get what you give in this life. So I argue life is fair. Like all the clowns are arguing on the other panel. Life's not fair. No, life is fair most of the time. You get what you give. It's called equity and trust. So trans Jew, final word, and then we're out of here.
People are insane and learn how to read people and how to carry yourself and enjoy your life. I'm out of here. All right.
Thank you, JG. Sorry, trans Jew. Thank you, trans Jew. We love you. But we got to leave you. All right, folks, resoundingly successful broadcast. Why? Because I, your humble and modest co-host and narrator and co-creator and facilitator and many other things. Guys, we come here every day. I play a doctor online, a broadcaster. I play many things online, a guru, non-guru, okay, a patriot, many things. I wear many hats, but of course, a man is just a man. Beginning at the end of the day, we all put our pants on one leg at a time, and we have to stay humble with humility, even if we are a god of all media, of course. Okay, so yeah, great times being here. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? I try not to make a judgment on it. I'm feeling complete or more complete at this time, not only in my broadcast, but in my life. And I feel more and more as if I'm coming to completion daily, brothers and sisters. Okay. So I know I say that with a flippant Talcottian swing voice attached, but that is the case. Right? I feel good about myself and my life, where things have gotten to and where they may yet go. I'm excited for the future. And opportunities, and if nothing else, just to be here day in and day out with my audience, right? I'm going to go ahead and say it because I got shit for that. My audience. I'm very protective over this audience. I care about these people. I appreciate their support, and I appreciate them showing up and doing and being more for themselves, and then showing that to me and the rest of us. It is a general inspiration and motivation, I think, for all of us, right? It's a collective process of communing, getting more and more knowledge of self, right? Creating a lifestyle of self-development in different ways, gaining more of that understanding, applying it, getting results, and just doing it all over again. And that is, I believe, success in a sense. So more to come, more to be revealed, more convictions and indictments, metaversely, metaphysically, metaphorically, and potentially physically at some point. Okay, so this is the realm we occupy. This is the task. This is the game. This is the simulation. And I look forward to seeing what all of you have to put forth and create in yourselves and in your life. I'll be back tomorrow, somewhere between 12 and 3 MDT, because we don't stop. We're more than 500 days straight here at this time, and no planning on stopping anytime soon. So you're going to have to see me and feel me and deal with me one way or the other, and that's okay, right? You like it, I love it. If not, you really have no choice. I'm not leaving. Mazel from out west. And peace and love, brothers and sisters, of course. Very Talcottian way. And blessings to Cuckbody and others. Right? Online adversaries at times. We hope to achieve resolution and reconciliation in truth, and to be better and do better and have better in our life. If not, well, you know where it goes, slavery and genocide. God of all media out.
Me, I always tell it, even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Go on, go on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again.
The great reset's happening. So when you get all your pretty and nice shit taken away and your bullshit job that leads to nowhere, and you're forced back on the land and have to be self-sustainable and co-creative and work with what is, this talk about your feelings and your ego is going to go right out the window, because the God and the elements and nature are going to present what needs to happen next 9 out of 10 times. That's the difference between me and you. I got it in me, not on me, just like you do. I'm trying to work it out, bring the subconscious to the conscious and figure out who and what I am. Am I good or evil? Am I real and true? Am I a narcissistic, egotistical deceiver? That's the difference. I'm actually authentically trying to work it out while you lie to everyone and project your negative aspects of self onto me, and I don't appreciate it. And the universe don't appreciate it either. And the students of life in this audience don't appreciate it either. This isn't about love of money. This isn't about chasing bags or anything else in and of the world. This is about the philosophy, right? The love of knowledge, the love of wisdom, the love of understanding of self and applying it to actualize and realize and get better results for yourself and everyone else. I thought that's what we were doing here. So let's get the game back in its proper perspective. The motherfucker doing this shit shouldn't have to talk about it because you folks want to lie on it. It's embarrassing to me. I didn't come on here with the intention or the understanding that this is supposed to be for business or a hobby. That's why I show up the way I do 500 days straight. That's why I have a care in my heart with passion. That's why I do what's true and what's right and see through you motherfuckers and get amazing results for me. We can't allow the generalized experience of life and everything it has to offer, good, bad, and indifferent, to hold us back or keep us paralyzed or keep us fearful or self-doubting or unloving and uncaring of ourselves. How do I know? Because I look into me. That's all this is. I can see further than the rest. I can interpret beyond what's told and shown, and I can amalgamate and communicate the cause and effect and the root of the state of consciousness and awareness. That is a astounding testimony to the work that I've done on myself in this world and in this life and the practices I've walked with other people. The question and answer, the fellowship, the co-creational endeavors, and the conversation that leads to understanding. But again, we can't appeal to false emotions and false authority. That is the cornerstone of cognitive dissonance. You can't say that I'm respectable, righteous, honorable, presentable, and then I have balls and then turn around and hate me or catch feelings over me, be in that and live in that when you don't like it or when it doesn't turn out as favorably for you as you would have hoped or expected, right? That's the theme of a true common bond that goes long term versus the shallow, materialistic, worldly connections that come and go. Just, it is what it is. Some people are down forever. Some people are down for the ride until they got to get off, right? And some people ain't down at all. So through the life experiences, firsthand experiences, through the tests and challenges, you learn more and more who and what is meant for you and who or what is probably not going to be able to sustain the ride.
God damn it.
And that's okay.